real Grim. What are we gonna do?
Grim. That's how it looks.
I'll take Grim right now.
I am the Grim Reaper.
Bit grim.
Grim bosses are good.
And make it grim.
A grim tale indeed.
It's a little grim.
Meaningless and grim.
It's the Grim.
It's Grim.
Pretty grim, huh?
Things look grim.
Evening all. Welcome to the game. Today we are playing a one-shot of Ironclaw, first edition revised, though I also have Jadeclaw, which was much better laid out and explained than Ironclaw was, so it's kind of a hybrid between the two. I will probably be simplifying some of the combat rules and so on a little bit because they're not the best for a one shot. They get a bit fiddly and will slow things down. So this won't be 100% true incarnation of Ironclaw. I believe it's still being published. There are new editions that you can look up, but I inherited these from a friend who had to get rid of his RPG collection. So better put them to use, I thought. Right. Yeah, the themes and stuff of the game should become apparent as we begin to play. And I will now bring in the players. Unmute yourselves if you're muted, and if it's quiet where you are. Would you care to introduce / tell us a little bit about your characters? Starting with Ugla.
Ugla, the speller, speaker of ancient secrets, wise owl of spellcraft and mystery, and a loquacious pain in the ass.
Yes, a bird with a little bird on his staff. All right, and we have Kanga and Rue.
I'm a wayward father trying to get his child back to our homeland, and a devout worshiper of the mother.
All right, and we have Vim the vagabond.
I'm a tiger.
Grr. Rar.
Rar.
And we have Yeoman Bara.
Yes, Yeoman Bara, disgraced former member of the Ducal Guard, disgraced and therefore depressed, enormous, ponderous, seemingly an idiot.
Yes, he's a bit chunky, is Yeoman Bara. Let me just open my notes in a different window so I can actually see them. And then we shall get started. So you all know of each other by reputation, at least. Kanga stands out by being the only marsupial that most people have ever seen, and dressing a bit funny. Bara, yeah, as a disgraced former member of the Ducal Guard, people know of him, not necessarily approvingly, though it's not entirely clear why he's no longer a member of the Guard. Possibly he got too stout. It's hard to know. Ugla is well known, or Ugla if you prefer, is well known as someone to go to if you need things read or scrivened, or you need a little bit of magic for this, that, or the other. And Vim is so loud and bouncy and annoying that everyone knows who Vim is.
I'm so bouncy.
Yes. Made out of springs. Okay, there's the adventure notes.
And creatine. And supplements.
this rare
Right.
and exotic drug called ketamine.
That's only for horses.
And Elon Musk.
Not with that attitude.
All right. So you're all wanting for work, and so I have pitched up at Botru, which is one of the sort of little market towns dotted around the Duchy of Wootton, known for its honey and its mead and its bustling market square. So you've all arrived there not long before lunchtime. There are many, many rabbits who till the surrounding fields and so on, bustling about in the market. There are market stalls set up. There are various people moving carts and stuff around. Where you would normally, in like a human village, see horses and dogs and things, here you see beetles and lizards and things like that. But that's what people use as beasts of burden and similar. The main watering hole at Botru is the very small beetle, which is run by a grumpy old badger, former adventurer and mercenary who cashed in his fortune to dig himself his burrow in the town and turn it into an inn. It's the sort of place people like you tend to hang out because there's usually interesting people there.
My talents are wasted in this place.
So the honey's good here?
Yes, the honey is good.
Then I'll be...
And the mead.
I was about to say, I'll be indulging the mead pretty heavily.
Okay. So, you make your way into the very small beetle. The interior is dark and smoky, but in a warm, comforting sort of way. Tree roots are grown across the ceiling. Lanterns hang here and there. There's a hearth fire, even though it's late spring and fairly warm. But there are pots cooking over the fire. The old badger, who works as the innkeep, sort of looks over at you with his one good eye and just sort of nods and silently prays that you don't bounce into anything and break it.
Barkeep, my throat is parched. My very tigerish throat.
Yeah, have you got any money?
Is that a question you ask a customer?
Yes. Otherwise, they're a sponger and not a customer.
I'll trade you.
What have you got to trade, my stripy friend?
Some malt extract sandwiches?
No. Everybody knows badgers love mashed potatoes, not malt sandwiches.
Where am I supposed to get mashed potatoes right now?
Well, as luck would have it, I sell them, so you could buy some off me and then trade them to me for a drink.
Except that I don't have any money.
Suppose you could wash some dishes or split some logs for me.
I shall split your logs.
All right. Well, they're round the side, and the hatchet should be stuck in the log.
Grr.
Roar! All right.
Stomp out around the corner and start splitting logs.
Okay. Let's make a roll just for the sake of making a roll to show everyone how it works. Let me take a look at your character sheet.
Strength D8.
I'll see if you've got any skills that might be usable. Tell you what, I'll let you roll hiking. So roll 2d4. And whichever one gets the highest, that's your roll.
Oh, well, I got a 4.
Okay. You do a really bad job of it because you're a tiger with ADHD, but you do manage to split quite a lot of logs. Just, not particularly well. Sometimes you just shave off part of the log. Sometimes you split it perfectly in half. But, technically they're split.
Mhm.
So, that's good enough. Who next? Shall we have Oogla turn up next? You pass close to the very small beetle, and you hear hacking noises and cursing in a tigerish rasp coming from beside it. It's a good place to wet your beak.
Well, I have 2 questions. One, what's the weather been like?
Late spring, so it's been quite bright and sunny. When the sun's on you, it's warm, but when the wind picks up, it gets a bit of a chill.
Right. And how much pocket money have I put together? Because the problem with small towns is they don't need master translators and academics. So how I have been making my jank has been paid extra candle, and occasionally I get to be an umbrella for someone. It's very frustrating.
You have literally 2 pennies to rub together.
Which could work if you can get it.
The sun itself conspires against me.
But the old badger who runs the very small beetle, he occasionally has you read some stuff for him.
Perhaps I can impose upon his good, if earthy nature. So I shall head into the beetle to see how he's doing today, and perhaps he will not be upset that a wizard has darkened his door.
He spits into a mug and wipes it out with a cloth as you come in. Master Oogla.
My very good friend. Perhaps you could help this master of verbiage and great collector of diction with a minor problem of a dry repository.
I don't know what he just said, but if he does it in here, I'm going to get mad.
Collector of diction? Back when I was in the army, I knew a guy that collected ears, but nothing as harsh as that.
I need not tell you, sir, that many a fine young woman loves my diction. But if I could impose upon you for a drink, I think we would be most set.
Try to collect this dick, you're going to be in trouble.
I'll trade you. One of Chamberlain Coney's men came through earlier with a sign, and I've only got the one eye and my spectacles are in the shop. So if you wouldn't mind reading, he rummages around under the.
See, what does this sign say? Where may I see this sign?
Yeah, he rummages around, takes out a scroll that he's supposed to put up, and hands it to you.
The wizard will take the scroll and he proceeds to look at it, turn it, squint, pans, move back and forth.
It has been painstakingly printed using woodblock by someone who is clearly incredibly anal retentive.
Right. Someone rich enough to have it printed.
Yes.
So this would be see, would it?
It says, yes, please. Just let me know what it says. And it says, stout adventurers attend Bowtree Market today for an important announcement and opportunity on behalf of the Duke.
This appears to be a ducal edict of some significance, indicating an all-call for the adventuring sort, much as you were back in the day.
So, if I were to have to explain what the scroll says to a customer who wasn't as clever as you were, how should I describe it?
Pardon me while I use the local vernacular. The Duke's looking for workmen of stout nature and hard hand.
Right. Well, yeah, that'll do it. Thanks. So, what's your poison?
Oh, do you have any of that? Any of that local little honey drink with all the little bubbles in it?
Yeah, I can do you a mead. And he fills a fresh mug, which you hope is clean, with slightly foamy mead. A heady honey scent comes off it.
The owl kind of shakes and all gets all that puffy feather bit. It's like woo, and will enjoy his mead for a job well done.
Wonder what owls eat, because mice are people.
Small reptiles, small insects.
Probably, yeah. All right. So the smell of honey from the freshly poured mead drifts out of the inn and assaults the nose of Yeoman Bara, who has just recently hauled his heavy ass into town.
He's
honey.
He's accompanied by the sound of half a dozen chittering, anxious rabbits. Wrapped around his rear right paw is the remnants of their hutch, which he stood on, crushed, and is dragging behind him. Not quite realizing that he is so encumbered, rolling along in that sort of great muscular way that bears do on all four legs. The rabbits chasing after him, trying to intercept him. And
Sir, you trod on my house.
Head down.
Should have moved.
Yes, quite. Yes, the sort of rattle of the last vestiges of the frame falling away as he sort of stops outside and for the first time looks up. How substantial is this? Is the door to this place, apart from anything else? Is it built for earth signs?
Yeah. Yes. You have fit in there previously.
Fair enough. Yep. So
and you've lost your job, so you've lost a little bit of weight. You're only like 3 tons now. So.
So yes, he will. He treats most doors as if they're a sort of inconvenient mist. So he just sort of pushes against it, which leads to it slamming with a great rattling clang against the inner wall as he bowls in.
Yes, a huge and rather stout bear appears in sections through the entrance with a tatty red cloak and a breastplate that's performing the duties of a jelly mold.
Oogla's gonna see this and kind of shuffle to the side with his mead, because by the way the mechanics work, this bear is 3 times my size. he gets as much of the bar as he wants.
Yeah. Skite, how are you, stout fellow?
Oh, I'm all right, I suppose. Great, huge yellowish brown eyes, at once very sort of dull and uninterested, but there's something feral going on in the back there. Sort of click click across as he sort of slides his eyes across. He sees Oogla in the corner. Oh, looks like we've got ourselves a reader.
Do you want a mead, Skite?
Always.
Aye. Well, anything for a fellow blade. And he pours you a nice big mug of mead and slides it across the bar. Pours himself one, lifts his mug to a portrait of a rat and a mole in mercenary garb on the wall, and takes a swig as well.
I mean, a swig. I empty the whole thing. Boom. Gone.
Yeah. Well, you're a bear.
Yes.
So,
and then I will look expectantly at him as if this is a normal procedure for this to be, the first of many.
Now, Skite, only the first one's free each day. and you do take up as much space as 3 regular customers. So,
Don't suppose you need any pots washing?
I would have given you some wood to chop, but there's another fella doing that. Tell you what, you just keep the peace, and I'll give you a drink every now and again. How's that?
That sounds tolerable.
Oh, there might be work as well. Chamberlain Coney, he's sent a message round. It's going to be some kind of meeting in the marketplace today. So, yeah, opportunities for stout adventurers. So I reckon that's you.
Once, maybe. I don't know.
It's a chance to get back on top, innit?
Maybe.
You're as much of a danner as that fucking donkey.
Oh, he's not here, is he?
No. I think he's hauling goods for one of the market stall owners.
I thought about playing that.
Meanwhile, outside, Kanga and his young charge.
Yeah, I'd like to be walking through the village to get to the inn, holding up a small sign that he hand wrote, saying, healing and treatments and gifts of the mother, and going around sort of with the begging bowl and seeing if anyone needs healing or help.
Well, the most of the local rabbits and other sundry woodland creatures kind of scurry out of your way because you're kind of weird looking, a marsupial. Rue calls up from your artificial pouch. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Dead? Are we there yet?
Not yet. Quiet now.
Can we get some food, Dad?
Yeah, we'll get some almond milk when we get there.
Great. Smashy.
Could be worse. He could be doing bog trotter.
So do I get any any takers on healing and blessings?
Well, most people are avoiding you, but a rabbit in a ringmail shirt and with a sort of flat iron helmet with holes in it for his ears comes over. You do healing?
Yes.
My companion has been hurt, and there doesn't seem to be anyone else that can help us.
Please take me there. Take me to him.
Yeah, he leads you through the market stalls with people calling out, "Dung, get your dung! Already part digested, dung! Beetles to delight your fancy. Have a beetle."
No,
all manner of stuff on sale. But yeah, he leads you to a pile of old barrels that have been kind of discarded at the side of the marketplace. There's a hand cart and another rabbit there. This rabbit has an arrow stuck in his shoulder that punched through the ringmail and into his flesh beneath. And he's making a big show of it hurting.
I ask him if, do you mind me looking at it? I could fix that for you.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was thinking of keeping it. I could hang like onions off it or something. Of course I want you to look at it.
Settle down. I look at the rabbit who brought me here. Can you get me some clean bandages and some water?
Right, you are. He dashes off, lolloping at high speed to fetch the things that you need from the market stalls.
Yeah, I'll look at it and see how bad it is. Do you want me to make that medicine check?
Yes, make a medicine check.
So that would be what? Mind plus medicine?
For the skills, I've already put all the dice across for it.
There's just one die for the skills?
If you've only got the skill rating, yeah. Some things you roll other stuff as well, but it should already be figured out. So
okay, so it's just one die then?
Yeah.
5.
Okay. Yeah, so the problem is that he has an arrow stuck in him.
I know, but is it protruded from the back? or is it
Uh,
just the head's just
the
buried?
head of the arrow has gone through him, but gotten caught in the ringmail on the back, so it hasn't penetrated both sides of the ringmail, but it has gone clean through the flesh and fur.
Okay. Once his compatriot gets there with the water and the bandages, I'll turn him over, pull back the ringmail enough to get my hand in there and to see if it's be possible to snap the head off of the arrow.
If you push the arrow through a bit more, you'll
Yeah.
be able to snap it off.
Yeah. So push it through a bit, snap it off.
He hisses and squeals and thumps his foot against the ground as you push it through, and then you're able to snap it easily enough.
Yeah. Then I'll hold his shoulder really hard and enough that he winces, and then quickly pull the arrow out.
Okay.
After which
a bit of blood pours out and soaks into the fur around the wound.
And then I'll wash it off with the cloth. And then before I bandage it, I'll cast Healing 1 on it. And then I'll bandage it.
Okay. So that closes up most of the wound, and then you wrap clean bandages after having washed the blood out of the fur and so on. It moves slightly, gingerly. So, thank you.
I give him the 2 pieces of the arrow. It's mighty brave of you. You're a credit to your people. And then with the other hand, I hold out my begging bowl.
He drops a couple of pennies into it. Rue looks up and says,
"Ted, it was awesome. It's like an arrow right through him.
Yes, he was a brave little guy.
Did you see the blood? It was great.
Yes, I did. It was quite bloody.
He was bonza."
And I, say thank you, and I bow to the injured fellow and his compatriot, and then I'll wander to the inn.
His compatriot, stops to shake your hand. I've never met a rabbit like you before, but thank you ever so much. Not many people would help tax collectors.
Well, I guess everyone needs to do something. And then I quietly back away and head to the inn.
He slipped a silver shilling into your hand when he was shaking it.
Oh, okay. And again, I bow a little deeper to him and slowly back away.
Now that'll be 15 gold as a medical licensing tax.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a few coins to make sure I could pay for Joey, and then I head to the inn or bar, whatever that place is.
Well, Ted, you're right.
Well, let's get us some almond milk for you and a chance for you to walk around.
Great. Fantastic. Can't wait, Dad.
So what's this bar look like?
So the bar is built under a couple of older trees. The roots kind of crisscross and form part of the roof. And there's thick turf and a few mushrooms growing on top. Which all belongs to the badger that runs the place. In place of a sign, it has a little cage outside with a very small beetle inside it.
Okay. Well,
there's a doorway, and through the doorway you can see the hindquarters of a bear.
Does it look like there's room to go in?
It'll be a bit of a squeeze, and you might get a little bit more intimate with a bear's arse than you might otherwise prefer to be, but you should be able to get in, yes.
So I take my katana with the end of it, sort of shoo the hind end of the bear. Like tap, tap,
okay.
tap, tap.
So you tap Skite on the ass, and it takes about a minute for the signal to reach his brain.
To which the response is he just assumes it's a rabbit or something sort of pestering him about knocking his house down, and he just languidly reaches a paw back to just sort of swat. He's not looking, he's not even trying to hit anybody, he's just sort of swatting away in the general direction.
Tap, 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 tap. Good sir, please move. Good sir, you're knocking the door.
Slowly turns. He doesn't crane his head over his shoulder. He actually turns in the limited space available. Looks down. What are you?
A priest of the mother.
Dad, it's the biggest koala I've ever seen.
He is quite chubby.
Oh, that is a
What think you, sir?
micropodidae. I believe.
Okay.
Possibly an antelopine?
So, big sir, can I please make my way into the bar? If I could beg some space to get past you.
In the way of all very large entities, he doesn't quite grasp the amount of space that he actually takes up, or the fact that people might need to squeeze around him. So at first he just kind of sort of looks as if it's obvious that you could get past him when clearly you can't, and then sort of lollops a couple of paces over, giving you just enough room if you turn sideways.
And then I'll slip past him to the bar.
Oogla shuffles a little bit more into the corner as the bear shuffles a little bit closer to him.
And I'll go up to the bar and ask the barkeep, could I please have some almond milk for my child?
Right, you are. He pours you a cup of white fluid and hands it over. Free for the little one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything for you?
Another almond milk, please. Just an almond milk.
He doesn't seem to compute that an adult wouldn't want alcohol, but then he comes to his senses, takes a penny off you, and pours you a big mug of that as well.
Thank you, kind. And I look to see if there's anywhere around the bear to actually be able to sit.
There is space around the bear, or closer to the hearth, or there are seats of various sizes for animals of various carriage.
All right, I sit down and wait to see what transpires and let my son have a drink before we do anything else.
Oogla is going to kind of delicately dance around the bear, juggling his mead, because you don't really slither around. It's more of a step, juggle, step, juggle. Over to the table with the newly arrived person of the cloth, and he'll ask if he can sit down as he's sitting down, and be like, I don't mean to intrude upon the privacy of your thoughts as a fellow person of learning, but I simply must know, is it true?
Was what true?
Is it true that people of your genus and family are phylum are known to have a pocket?
Pocket?
Dead. He's an owl.
He is.
If he's an owl, why does he have a stick? Can't he fly? Can't you fly? Why do you got a stick?
Oh, I certainly could fly if I had mind to, but my talents lie in other directions. No. I have heard that personages from faraway lands such as yours are known to have, at least I assume perhaps the female of the species, is known to have a forward chamber that may be actually accessed from the front. And I am just painfully curious about it.
Yes, only the ladies have that, I'm afraid.
How amazing. And you have replicated this with your package for your young one.
Yes.
It's better than Mum's pocket. Mum's pocket was full of mucus.
And he pulls out his spell book, and goes back to the back where it says notes, and he's like scribbling pocket full of mucus.
And good sir with many questions, who might you be?
Yes, I am Oogla, the speller, speaker of ancient secrets, keeper of mystical knowledge, and unfortunately, most recently, scribe, scrivener, and umbrella. But things are looking up.
In what way are they looking up?
It's bird speak. We often look up because we also often look down at all the people who can't fly.
It's truth, mate. You talk a lot.
But which things do I say are important and which things are mystery? Who knows? Who knows?
Right. Meanwhile, Vim has finished splitting logs and has managed to purchase a drink for himself. You spend a little bit of time in each other's company, hearing each other talk to each other. Bara probably just kind of sits there waiting for the next drink to be issued.
Well, he will, again, very bear-like. He'll just assume that everything is kind of for him, and this concept of milk is a strange one, and so he just sticks his snout right into the cup.
Glad I didn't want any of that.
Not as good as honey.
Right into whose cup?
It doesn't matter to him. They're both his in a certain sense. But
he gets a swift katana across the nose.
Emerges the tiny tip of his snout, which is the only bit that could reach inside, is covered with this kind of white viscous fluid, which his tongue then promptly wrapped around.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Why did you put your mouth in there?
To see if it was horrible. It is.
And it was.
You have atrocious manners.
Bodger the Badger comes back out from around the bar and refills the cup. No extra charge. Sky, look. Mead, Sky. Here, over here. Well away from the baby.
And it's like that, those cartoonish sort of, smelling the pies type thing. Animal smells pies and just almost floats across the room towards it.
I turn back to Ugla. Does no one teach your koalas manners?
Not all individuals upon this globe are built like everyone else, and Skite is where well-respected local color.
With no manners at all.
Dad, he talks real funny. Is he one of them gobshites?
Apparently.
Gob. I've never heard this. What is this gob? Is that
Well,
the wire and hide? How many E's does it have?
None, I don't think. Dunno. I can't spell real good. You're a speller.
I shall have to investigate meaning of investigate the meaning of local foreign dialect.
Right.
Vim is drinking his mead and kind of looking around the room for a comely young female to pounce because, vagabond.
Oh, God.
No yiffing. Bad. Bodger sees you eyeing up one of the rabbit waitresses who's tending to the other guests around the sort of dogleg of the bar, and he stares you down with his one good eye and rolls up the announcement scroll and just pats it in his hand.
Is he like, don't make me tap the sign because there's a sign that literally says no yipping in the
Actually, yes, there is a wooden sign behind the bar that says no yipping, and he taps it with the rolled up scroll.
Damn. She had nice haunch meat. Wanted to take a
no
bite out of that
eating
thigh.
the staff either. The sudden tension in the bar is cut by the sound of trumpets outside.
That is probably a local announcement.
Is there a festival day today I don't know about?
No. The Duke's people apparently are seeking strong hands for adventurous means of some sort, and they're going to be describing such today, one assumes.
Would this type of work, pay enough to get passage out of here.
I would assume there is some kind of reward.
Well, maybe I should go investigate. I'll collect up our drinks and head toward the door.
Okay. Bring them mugs back. People keep nicking them.
Good sir, I'll bring them back to you later.
Outside the local crowd, which is mostly rabbits, with a few stoats, weasels, a couple of other badgers, some frogs, some mice and rats, but very much mostly rabbits. They've all gathered around the little stage at one end of the marketplace. A much more officious-looking rabbit is standing on the stage, flanked by a couple of younger sort of page boy rabbits who are tooting the trumpets still to draw people's attention. Attend.
We're already here, aren't we? In attendance.
It means listen and pay attention, you rude cat. I am here on behalf of Chamberlain Coney and the Duke. One of the pages unfurls a flag, which depicts a red-breasted robin on a field of green on the shield. There are rebels and bandits occupying the woods. The Duke and the Chamberlain request and expect that stout heroes step forward to deal with the problem. They have been attacking the Duke's tacksmen and legitimate merchants going about their business throughout the Duchy of Wootton. I have been authorized by Chamberlain Coney and the Duke himself to offer a large purse of golden monies to those who would accept the task and root out the bandits. Any of you stout and brave enough to face such terrors, such horror, such danger for such rich a reward?
Go kick some bandits' asses? Sure.
What was I say?
1 second. Sorry, I've lost track of one of my notes. Okay. Right. Well, those who are interested, please step forward. And from behind him, another page rabbit steps forward, sets down a little coffer, and opens it up. Inside, there is a leather bag, and you can see the glint of gold within the bag briefly before he shuts it and locks it again.
Step up.
First, brave soul, you wish to engage the task and rid us of these terrible bandits?
Sure. Sounds fun.
Anyone else? There are several bandits. Might be good if he had some friends.
Would this reward be enough to book passage overseas?
Yeah, it would be a good chunk of the way there, certainly.
I can see what I can do for you. I'll step forward.
Yeah.
Did Yeoman Yubara actually get up and go outside, or is he still sitting at the bar?
No, he followed, but he sort of he tailed along, not enthusiastically, just sort of out of habit.
Then I shan't have to push him along.
A thought enters Bara's head. It happens occasionally. Money can be exchanged for honey and mead.
True, though.
and he will move through the crowd. And bearing in mind he was kind of at the rear, he will move through the crowd, and he's just going to assume that people are getting out of his way. He's not going to make any effort to avoid people. He's just going to stride forward as rabbits go skittering hither and yon either side of him, presumably. It's sort of, it's a bit like the Ark Royal returning at the end of the Falklands, surrounded by all the requests. And when he gets there, he sort of considers doing the dramatic thing and raising himself up to his full height on his rear legs, but in the end, he just sits down.
Oogla, on the other hand, does the opposite. He uses Yara's approach as a blocker, and he's just following him awake like he planned it.
The rabbit with the announcement scroll looks Bara up and down. It's like, well. Then he scratches his chin and says, yes, you'd be welcome to help. Certainly. He's not a hero. He crushed my house. Shh.
Bara at this point looks around at the assembled crowd of rabbits. Does anybody feel like stopping me?
Suddenly, their feet are very, very interesting.
I didn't know I had an ingrown toenail till now. Amazing.
Oogla will dispel the light tension in the air by coming around the bear and approaching the spokesman and be like, well, in the spirit of community activism and co-fraternity, it is only appropriate that I lend my fantastical, mystical arts to this endeavor for the common defense and good of the realm. If it's needed, of course.
Oh, the rabbit seems very impressed by your loquacious verbiage. Yes, a fine, intelligent fellow, a brain to go with brawn. Yes, this mission suddenly seems much more likely to succeed. Well, by all means, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, if we can just take your paw prints on this contract, and I shall give you more information. The rest of you may disperse.
Okay.
Right. Well, so the rabbit hops down from the stage and beckons you all closer. Yeah. So the problem we're having is with a vicious gang of weasels, the Vizsla gang.
What exactly are weasels?
Was that an out-character question or an in-character question?
It was an in-character question.
Weasels, they're thin, lanky fellows, very, very quick, bouncy, but not like him.
I'm so bouncy.
Are they voracious?
They're an ermine of the Mystidae family. Kind of like if you took a rodent and stretched it.
And these are a threat.
What? No, not all of them. Some of my best friends are weasels. But some seem to have taken up with some sort of charismatic bandit leader out in the woods, and they're making things very, very difficult for the Chamberlain and the Duke. Robbing and stealing and hurting people. It's not good. It makes us look weak and vulnerable. But the guards have had no luck going after them. So we need some fresh new thinking. And Chamberlain Coney is a very forward-thinking chap. So he said, why don't we hire some mercenaries, some sellswords to deal with it.
Do you have a location?
Well, I believe the last few attacks have all taken place near the Mickleston Gate at the river ford. So I think they're using the narrowing of the road and the lack of options for passage to attack people making their way into the surrounding duchies, at least for the time being. But they've been striking everywhere. There's a few attacks here, a few attacks there. They've been everywhere from Sandhole Grave to Gescott Rafe.
Do you perchance have a thing of these scurrilous rogues, an object of great significance, some evidence of their passing?
Well, they did leave a note the last time they attacked one of our tacksmen. He snaps his fingers, and one of the page boy rabbits rushes forward again. And see the note. It's not particularly well written. You know, it's lots of reversed letters and like it's been drawn left-handed, but it says, "We'll keep stealing until you tell the truth." And it's signed William Trespassé.
So do you know what this truth is he's speaking about?
Sorry about that. I was waiting for an alarm to stop. While the others continue to speak, Ugla is going to take the note and is going to attempt to use sympathetic connections as he focuses in on the name and the writing itself. I know it's passed many hands, so it's a long shot, but I want to attempt locate on the object to find the original penman in their rough direction and location.
Okay.
Wizard's gonna wizard.
Yeah, wizard's gonna wizard. So it's 3d6 difficulty. And you roll d12, d8, and d4.
Yep. Just digging through my bag of dice. Can I find a d8?
They're the ones with 8 sides.
Yeah.
I'm helping.
They're the other Caltrop. Because if you're not stepping on a d4, you're stepping on a d8, and you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we get nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah, a 3, a 2, and a 1. We got a solid nothing.
All right. Yes, you take hold of the note and you make several mystic passes and mumble some magical words over it, but you get nothing. Just an endless succession of rabbits.
It has passed too many hands, and too much time has shifted from its use. Perhaps future we will have better luck.
Yeah, well, I suppose good old legwork we'll have to do then. But yes, so complete the job. Return with this Trespassé's head, and that little box of gold is all yours. Not to mention the favor of the Duke and the Chamberlain, or the Chamberlain and the Duke.
Do you have any
order?
Do you have any idea what this truth is that your note speaks of?
No, who knows what goes through the minds of these criminal types? Oh, they're all mad, obviously, because they're defying the social order.
Did the Duke promise anything to the people in the last while?
No, the Duke is unwell, of course. So more and more he relies upon the Chamberlain, but the Chamberlain is doing fine and wonderful things for the people.
Do you, Ugla, do you know anything of this person that the note speaks of?
No, not personally, not by reputation.
You could make a history roll or something.
Sure.
We don't have that, so make a literacy roll.
Okay. D8, D6. And I got D6. Oh, there we go. 6. So.
Okay. So you vaguely remember from going over sort of lineages. It's a good excuse to read and learn a bit of the local history and heraldry and so on. You remember this William Trespassé because you needed a break from going over rabbit lineages, which are sprawling and difficult to track.
Oh no!
But William Trespassé, he is a weasel, a noble weasel, which just goes to show how far things in the Duchy of Witten have progressed. That weasels can ascend to such high ranks in society. He was knighted and fought in the last crusade.
Well, apparently he is a knight of some distinction as far as weasel families go, although not a member of any particularly great house. More a lower peer of a realm, which begs all kinds of unfortunate questions about his choices in life.
The Duke stripped him of his title some time ago. He came back from places abroad with weird ideas like worshipping the moon and things like that.
Democracy,
Madness, sheer madness. Clearly, he was driven insane by the desert sun and the depredations of war, and now he's gone a little bit cuckoo. No offense, some of my best friends are cuckoos.
You could say he's become a lunatic.
Has he ever preyed upon the people? Not merely tax collectors and such.
His ire seems to be directed against the Duke and the Chamberlain and the agents of the state, basically. And that's where his annoyance seems to have been directed.
Ugla, do you mind if I step away? I want to go speak to that rabbit that I healed before and see what the opinion of this bandit is from someone a little closer to it.
Certainly, if he has any things, if he has things of these people, do let me know.
I go back.
The arrow.
Yeah, I go back and try to find the tax collector rabbit and his friend.
Yes, they are hanging out near one of the market stalls and eating beetle kebabs.
Beetle eaters.
Thank you again for the help with the old shoulder. It's feeling a lot better. Thank you.
Yeah, I just came over to ask you some questions. Do you know much about this Robin of Trespassé, who apparently has attacked you?
William Trespassé. Yeah. Well, they say he's the leader of the bandits, but we didn't really get much of a look. Trying to run away, dragging a handcart between the two of us. Just all we saw were flashes of people in the woods. Really, and then an arrow came barreling out, and
they never said,
poor old Dave here. Yeah, right in the shoulder.
They never said anything to you?
They were showing us to drop the cart, stand and deliver, hand over the money. There was a weird noise, like one of the trumpets you just heard, but weird. Yeah, we just ran. We got away with the cart and the taxes, so they didn't stop us. So
Well, that's fine. Did you think
dead? Can have a beetle.
Do you have an extra beetle there? I asked the shopkeep.
The shopkeeper folds his arms and says, "No freebies."
I never said it was free. I asked if you had.
Well, yeah, I can do you a stick,
and I take one of the pennies out that I got.
And in return, you get a long, thin stick with several roasted beetles on it.
Right. So I hand it to Rue, and I'm like, I don't think you're going to like the taste of this.
There are crunching noises from within the little hammock thing, and the bits of beetle shell get spat out.
And then I could be wrong.
Delicious. You know, real bonds are dead. You should have some.
No, that's all right. I continue with the rabbits. Do you still have that arrow that you I took from your shoulder?
Yeah, I kept it as a trophy.
The wizard said he might be able to use it to track down those who attacked you. Do you think I could borrow it, and I'll bring it back to you?
Yeah, sure, as long as I can have it back. There you are.
Thank you. Have a good day. And I step away and go find Ugla. Go find Ugla?
Yes.
Yeah.
Presumably you guys are still hanging out by the stage.
Okay. So I go back to him and bring him the arrow. And explain to him where the arrow's from.
Ooh. Could be difficult. The close association with the rabbit would have affected it, but if the malice of the firer is still there, we may be in luck. And so Ugla will attempt to use locate again. And I am keeping track of the expenditure
magic points. Yeah.
There we go. An 8.
Okay. A success. Right. You get a flash, a vision. For a moment, you see the archer, whoever they are, a weasel in a hooded jerkin with a finely made bow, far finer than you would expect a mere bandit to use. You get the vague impression of other weasels similarly attired, and you get a sense of where they are or were, which is indeed at Mickleston Gate, which is the northern ford over the river. It's not that far from where you are now. You can take the road towards the ducal palace, and then head north, and that will take you to Mickleston Gate.
So, interesting question before Ugla disperses this knowledge. The very fine-made bow, can he discern with his superlative arcane knowledge whether it is just a well-kept huntsman's bow, or is it in fact a military grade bow as like a former soldier would use?
I did roll quite high. It looked to you like a soldier's bow, a military bow, made of stout yew.
The weapon itself was probably used in a raid near Mickleston, as we've discussed, and it was indeed in the hands of brigands of a weaselly sort. Although their weapons were in very good order, I would suspect either acquired from soldiery, or perhaps already held in the hands of former soldiery. So I would be concerned whether or not our intended has perhaps retained some of his loyal followers, or has acquired new ones, perhaps between engagements.
Did you get? Oh, sorry.
So the rabbit herald sort of strokes his chin again for a moment, and then preens his whiskers. Perhaps they're well equipped because they're agents. Perhaps Baron Greenback sent them to disrupt things here. Either way, they need dealing with. So, Yes, we still need you to deal with them and with Mr. Trespasser. But any other intelligence you might be able to gather would be useful.
So perhaps it would be better to capture the brigand, that he may be questioned by your esteemed officials first before he beats the axe.
The strict instructions from the Chamberlain were to kill Trespasser himself and return with his head, but perhaps some of his fellows know something.
And they may even be interested in leniency.
Well, I leave things in your capable claws, paws, and assorted appendages. Myself and my pages will be propping up the bar until you return. We shall stay here a week, and after that we shall return to the palace.
There is perhaps one thing, if my fellows are amenable to it. As you say, they have been holding up people at this location. The easiest way perhaps to draw them out would be to have the appearance of someone worth a stick up. Could we perhaps get, say, some passably fancy clothes as a disguise, or something, to be returned, of course, but just to lure them in, as it were.
No advances, I'm afraid, out of the question. What if the bandits should defeat you? Then they would have more resources, and we can't be having with that.
Of course.
No. And he bustles off huffily with his pages and attendants towards the bar. All right. So what's the plan? Anyone? Bueller?
Ugla, do you think you could recognize that place where the arrow was shot from if we managed to go back to that location?
Oh yes, I have a very good sense of what direction and where. I could even, with luck, find the exact position that the bowmen fired from, but I don't know if they're still there, or if indeed they will be there again.
But we might find more evidence if we investigate the area.
We may indeed, and if they're there, we may just luck into them. Should our protections hold?
Well, then why don't we get ready to go there? And in the meantime, can I have that arrow so I can return it to the fine rabbit that left it to me?
Of course, yes. Here, and Ugla will return it,
and then Kanga will return it in turn.
I'll return
to the guards' rabbits.
Yeah, and then I'll return my cups back to the inn.
Very responsible.
While others are preparing in other ways, Ugla will basically take the opportunity, because he may not have it again, to meditate. Just wait for everyone to recompile wherever we've agreed, probably next to this ramshackle stage, because it's a known location.
Yep.
Well, Bara has spent the entirety of this conversation earnestly, assiduously gnawing at his own paws. Occasionally, when Kanga goes away and returns, he sort of looks up, realizes nobody's going anywhere, carries on back, chewing the bottom of his own feet.
GM, is meditation how we get our points?
How you get your magic points back? Yeah.
I should do the same when I return.
Yes. Ugla probably has a better idea of the rules for that than I do.
I'm actually pulling them up because I don't entirely remember, but I have rolled my dice.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to determine how much I got. Okay.
Let me look it up.
Meditation tests. It's on page 145. Bang, bang. Okay. when a wizard sleeps, they recover full magic. To recover lost points faster, you can try to pass a meditation test by spending an hour in quiet contemplation of the universe. Blah 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 blah. Your dice include your meditation skill and all your wizard traits. There's a number of modifiers. If you succeed, you get 1 magic point back. If you get an overwhelming, you get 2, and roll again. You can keep rolling and recovering magic points as long as you keep scoring an overwhelming success. So yes, for all of the points I have spent, I regained a whole 1 point. Yeah.
What is an overwhelming?
If you beat the target by 5 or more.
Yeah.
And what's the target?
It depends. It's usually a dice roll.
So I spent 3 points.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, the difficulty for either of you to meditate is 4. So you roll your dice against a difficulty of 4.
Ah, certainly.
Well, I got a 12 and a 3.
Okay, so 12 is a success. That's more than 5 over. So I think you can. Well, we'll just say you're back up to your maximum spell points.
In actuality, I did not gain any spell points, but
okay.
Either way. We do what we can.
Yes.
So after we're done meditating, so do you want to lead us to this place?
Oh, certainly. Is everyone else settled?
I don't know how long these barley sandwiches will last, but always catch something along the way.
Is Bara coming?
Yeah, I mean, he will just sit there contentedly, chewing on himself until such time as you're clearly ready to go.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm asking him. I asked him, is Bara coming?
He is.
Well,
with a being of your size, would you like to lead the way for us?
I suppose so.
Well, under normal circumstances, I would simply fly. But since you need to be able to see me, and I need to be able to see you, and we are traveling along a road through a wooded environment, perhaps it's best if I use my what do they call it? Beat feet. So I shall attend you, Bara, if you will submit to accept my rather inconsequential weight compared to your great frame.
You must be confusing me with that fucking donkey.
No, you are clearly a bear.
Yes, and therefore not conventionally a beast of burden.
Well, no. I'm saying, do you mind if I am a burden? I'm not implying at all that you are a burden.
I'm not to be ridden, little bird.
Excellent. Thank you for clearing that up. I will put that under my not to be confused again. This way, and off he will go, using his little walking staff, which is in fact a powerful rod of sorcery.
Yes, and not just a stick.
And not just a stick.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Let's see. Well, you're probably not going to get lost because you can kind of follow the road, but you might want to stray off it to, investigate and keep an eye on things. Oogla doesn't have hiking, which is a skill, because he can fly. so he's kind of out of his element. It will be
can make-
directing you. So pick one of you to be like the pathfinder, following Oogla's instructions.
I will never understand how you wingless people do this. This walking. Ooh.
Hurry up and fly off.
No,
Have you
no,
tried hopping? Hopping's pretty good.
I mean, I can try and hop to it. Oh, that's not inappropriate, is it? I wouldn't want to make a
Nah.
faux pas.
No, it's fine.
All right. So who's going to act as pathfinder and take the lead?
I thought we agreed that we were having Bar go first.
Okay. So can Bara make a hiking roll, please?
Okay.
Your difficulty to beat is 4. Yeah.
Okay.
D8 and a D4. Roll separately. Take the highest.
6 on the D8.
Okay. So you don't run into any troubles. It's mid to late afternoon when you arrive at the riverbank. Mickleston Gate is north of here, and the road runs alongside the river. There are many drooping, sleepy willow trees draping their branches down into the river. You can see a few locals fishing around for sticklebacks and other fish in the river. A couple of them sort of tip their hats towards you.
So Oogla, was it across the river here?
That is uncertain. They're using the place where it comes close together, where the road is tightened in. But my perspective was that of the assailant, who was offsides and in the trees, which all the limbs very close together is almost a highway. You could cross one end of Calabria to the other if there weren't all those plains. So
maybe then, as our resident flyer, you should get up in there and take a look.
I can certainly try. Hopefully, there's none out there with a bow looking to take a shot at aerial reconnaissance.
That would be unfortunate.
It would. It'd be for me.
We'd get over it though.
So, yes, Oogla will take a circuit. He'll get into the air and the lower canopy. Take a flight. Take a search. Seeing what his keen elven owl's eyes see.
Okay. Well, you have keen ears and keen eyes.
Yep.
So for aerial reconnaissance, step up the die type of your flight. So that'll be D8 and D6. And roll that.
We got a 1. We got one success. We got a 4.
A 4, you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's daytime. It's not my ideal environment.
No, it's not. So yeah, you pull your robe in, flex your wings, and take off. Everyone else is buffeted for a moment by the wind as Oogla takes off into the air and flies high above, circling around. As you say, being normally more of a nocturnal or crepuscular person, you're not that great at seeing and hearing things during the day. There's far too many things that are active and moving around in various parts of the woods. But you do get a good oversight of Mickleston Gate. So it's not a proper bridge. It's a whole bunch of stones that cross the river to create a crude sort of ford. Someone has laid a bunch of planks to make it a bit more passable, and it is the main pass to the surrounding other duchies and baronies and so on. Normally it's quite busy, but it doesn't seem that busy right this moment. either side of the river, at the two sort of points of the crossing, are erected a couple of big sort of wooden frames like gates, which probably would make Kanga think of Torii gates, but they're not quite so fancy. They're just kind of big wooden frames to show where you're supposed to cross and where you're supposed to cross to at night. But you don't see anyone. You don't see any campfires or anything either from up here. So whoever they are, wherever they are, they're keeping themselves hidden quite well. At night, you might have better luck.
So rejoining the others, I'll be like, well, I certainly saw I struggle to call it a bridge. It's a shoddy local construction, not greatly improved over just putting a board over some rocks. It has a gate, so to speak, so that you know where you're supposed to cross, presumably for tolls. But didn't see any persons, didn't hear any individuals, at least that wouldn't normally be in the woods today. But that doesn't mean they're not there. It means they could be quite stealthy.
Did you find the ambush site, though? That's what you were looking for.
Oh, presumably, with how it's structured, they either wait until you cross and then catch you, so that you cannot run back, or they set up on the far side as you approach. Since there's no real, I mean, it is a bridge, but it is also still crossing stones. They may actually just choose to catch you in the exact center of the river where you have nowhere to run.
We can figure that out from here. That wasn't the question. Did you find the ambush site, the spot where the shooter was shooting from?
No. They clearly are quite skilled and presumably know the terrain quite well.
But you said it was in the trees, and you didn't land in the trees. You circled around.
Well,
so maybe you could land in the nearby branches that can see the spot, so you can see if you can find the proper spot to see if there are any clues.
I mean, that is true, but if they're in the trees and I land in them, then they can see me because I can see them, and then I would get shot.
Then you need to cry out for help. Come on, brave owl. Please.
I suppose there is a logic here. Logic that resolves around getting shot. Yes, I will fly up into the branches, and I will sort of go from tree to tree and try to figure out, based on my recollection, where the shooter was.
Okay. Yes. So you take to the air once more, fly north to Mickleston Gate, and then zero in on the right tree. You've got pretty good magic roll, so you're pretty sure you found the right tree.
Right.
When you alight amongst its branches and climb down a little bit, one of the thicker upper branches has an old blanket thrown over it to make perching up here a bit more comfortable. And there's a half dozen arrows stabbed into the side of the tree. So this is clearly a spot that someone intends to use again.
I mean, since it hasn't been interfered with, it could be a much stronger connection to our target. So I will attempt to locate on it again.
Do you call us over before you start meditating and doing your thing?
I mean, I should, but I didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Make your locate roll.
You are 100% right. I should. But I went, ooh, how interesting.
That's why I asked.
Silly owl. Oh, wow. Got a 10.
Okay. That's a boosted success then. All right. So yeah, you crouch on the branch, hold on with your claws, and run your hand over the blanket and up onto the arrows. You get a vision. Maybe a half dozen weasels at a camp with a very small covered fire. They are laughing and joking with one another, and cooking strips of meat on the little fire. You think they are a little bit on the other side of the river, into Baron Greenback's territory, but in the woods off the trail.
Baron Greenback.
To the west, east, or
East.
Okay. So I will hoof it back to our people who are waiting for me to call, because I don't want to hoot out just in case they are there currently. And I will drop down and be like,
Can you make a stealth roll, please?
Oh, certainly.
He can, but he won't.
He's an owl. He's automatically good at stealth.
I can attempt it, but I'm both not skilled and have the joy of terrible luck, because I was up there for a while touching things and thinking.
But you are an owl.
I am an owl. Someone tries to sneak up on me, I just twist my head around backwards and look at them.
And then they summon a priest. Okay, so what did you get?
No, I rolled 2. There is no sneakiness in owl.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, you're unaware whether you've been spotted or not, but you take off from the tree and fly back to the others.
So I drop down and it's like, whoo, yes, I have found the location, and I have learned things from it. But I did not wish to make myself known, just in case they were nearby. They apparently have some kind of covered camp just to the east across the river in the nearby other lord's territory, just as the herald surmised.
Okay.
Well, at least give us somewhere to march to. How long do you think of a walk it'll be?
Oh, as the owl flies. Grim, what is the rough and comparison of foot to bird?
You should be within reasonable distance of their camp by tea time.
Yes, tea time. Did we bring any tea? Do you need tea? Can you tea time without tea? Early afternoon.
So Vim and Bara, do you fancy us going for a walk to see this camp?
Look at the bear.
Oh, yes. Please, dear God.
Well, it'll take us a little while longer on foot than it did in the air, so let's move.
All right. So you follow the road north, pass by a few more fishermen and a few reed cutters as well. They bid you good day. They don't seem that worried about all this intrigue and stuff going on. And then you arrive at Mickleston Gate a little bit before tea time. So there's these big wooden frames either side, and then stones that you have to make your way across.
So Grim, while we're hoofing it, I have a silly question for you. Do Kanga and Rue, because to the best of my knowledge, he brought Rue along. He didn't specifically say he left the child somewhere else. Count as a single person for spellcasting, or are they separate people?
They count as a single person for spellcasting.
Okay. As we are hoofing it, I would like to waddle in, sort of like trace back towards Rue, and be like, we could be going into danger, and I would be remiss if anything happened to the young one. Would you perhaps accept what minor imitations of blessings are available to the sorceress art?
I see no harm in it.
Okay, I'd like to try and roll protection so that if we do get jumped, the young one is covered. I don't want to see a child get hit by an arrow today.
So protection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know how long that lasts for.
I don't recall either, but I
We'll make it kind of like the scene. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you need to beat 6.
Yep. Oh wow. Got an 8.
Okay. So yes. So Kanga and Rue gain an additional 2d6 armor for the foreseeable. All right. Yeah. So the stones and so on are a bit slippery. So everyone should make speed rolls, or if you've got an applicable skill that seems like it might work, like hiking would be fine as well. Roll that. But you only need to beat 1, so don't roll a 1.
How far does it look from one bank to the other?
It's maybe 10 to 12 yards here. The river's a bit thicker elsewhere, but here it narrows, and then you've got the rocks.
Can I, in fact, just kind of wing hop it?
You can flap over, yeah. That's no problem.
I was trying to think is that far enough for me? Like, can I leap that? Can I?
You couldn't leap that,
no,
despite your kangaroo powers.
Delight of tax collectors. Birds never pay for tolls.
Well, I'll try to make a strategic hop to the center of it and then off.
Okay.
That's my best movement.
Yeah, so you can make a jumping roll, should you so wish.
3.
Okay. Yeah, just don't get all 1s, is all. Is everyone across okay?
Yep, I'm assuming so, yes.
T-shirt, you awake there? Hello? T-shirt?
Yep. What?
Oh, you are awake.
You fell asleep.
Too many beers.
It's waiting for the
Sorry, coughing fit.
Oh.
Okay. Did you make your roll to cross the river?
Let's see. What am I rolling? Hiking?
Yes. Hiking.
Or geography? They're the same either way, so?
Yeah.
Is it the better of 2, or?
Yeah, you roll the 2 and whichever one's the highest. Just don't roll double 1.
2.
Okay.
Not great,
Right,
but
so I think everyone's across safe.
Doggos.
Somebody's upset that we don't have a dog in the game.
Yeah, that's Orion. He's a loud boy.
Yeah, but I don't have a dog in that fight.
Ha
Aha!
Right. Let me see. Okay. Can you make observation rolls, please? If you don't have the observation skill, step down your mind by 1 dice category and roll that instead.
Oh dear.
Because of my eyes or ears, do I add my species die as well?
Yeah, if you've got any keen senses, you can step the die back up if necessary, or step up the die that you do have.
I got a 2 because I'm keenly distracted by something.
Yes.
Look, there are many pretty flowers in the woods.
I got a 6, but I already stepped it down, so I want to try rolling again.
Okay.
I got a 10 because Uglo just turns his head 360.
Scanning.
And Barra got rolling an 8 and a 4 using his smell, I think.
Yeah.
So he actually got an 8, but we are dealing with mustelids, so is it any fucking surprise you can smell?
Okay. All right. So anyone who got over 5 either sees a shadow briefly flitting from tree to tree behind you, and you're being followed, or you smell a cat not dissimilar in smell to Vim, or you hear the kind of soft pads of paws bouncing from branch to branch and landing quite heavily. That someone or something is following you through the trees.
Come out, little pussy.
You calling me?
Oh, no, not you. Merely one of your cousins, shall we say.
Ugla has actually read somewhere that weasels are related to bears.
I don't know if it's really appropriate to call a feline a pussy. Then again, I know some people like to use kitty. Kitty is not really right either. What is the pejorative for bear? Is it teddy? No.
Fat furry fucker.
That's just a description.
I beg your pardon. Yeoman Bar is not obese. That is all muscle.
Did someone's following us, and these lot have been a bunch of drongos.
I see that. Are any tree branch within my hopping distance? Like if I jumped up? Your whooshu jump up?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yes, you could leap up into some of the lower branches, but your leaping is mostly about distance and speed.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Yeah, you can do that.
All right, I'm going to leap up into one of the lower branches, and then
okay,
get a better
sight. Can you make a leaping roll, please?
Yep. Where's that? Ooh. 4 and 4, so I guess it's a 4.
Okay. 1 sec. All right. Yeah, you spring magnificently up into one of the trees nearby, landing on a sturdy sort of mid-level branch of an oak.
Good jump, Dad. Nice one.
And across the way from you on the next tree and slightly higher up, you briefly get a view of a hooded figure with a bow slung across their back, carrying a hatchet in their hands, sort of holding on with claws to the bark, and then they sort of pull themselves around into cover. You get a brief flash of spotty furred limbs and a long tail with a black tip.
With an 8 on that smell dice, can I zero in on the location of this creature?
Yes, you're smelling him in that tree there.
Okay, I will lollop over and start on all fours and use my claws, hewing and carving out great lumps of bark as I use my forepaws to haul myself upright, look up into the tree. Doesn't matter whether I can see the thing or not, but don't make me come up there and get you.
Okay. Let's see. What shall I have you roll? Body, I suppose. Unless you have like demolitions or anything as a skill. it's just rolling stats doesn't necessarily tend to produce a good enough result. Let me have a look. So your body is D10. Okay, let's say you're wrestling the tree. Because after all, the Vikings used to wrestle boulders.
Yep. All right,
So that's
D8, cool.
D8 and D4 and D10.
All right, got it. So the highest would be the 7 on the D10.
Okay. Right. Yes, you barge into the tree and start tearing chunks out of it with your claws and shaking it. A whole bunch of acorns fall down and scatter around you. They're green and new. And loose leaves and so on fall down as well. Quite a few surprised and stuff-looking beetles fall down. But the creature in the upper branches leaps out of the tree and across to one of the other trees.
I knew that was going to happen.
Jim, when he jumps, when that creature jumps, is it within distance where I could jump to intercept him?
You could jump to intercept him, and you would both plummet to the ground, so it might be painful, but you could do it.
I'll try to jump and grab him as I head to the ground.
Okay. Make a leaping roll.
6 and 4. Wow, I got max on both dice.
Okay. Right. You intercept the creature in midair, and tangled around each other, you both plummet to the ground and land in a heap in the underbrush in a bunch of ferns.
Wait for a second to see if anyone else is doing anything.
Did I even notice it leave the tree?
Not immediately, because you're having fun shaking the tree. But
yeah, exactly. So I'm going to keep clawing and shaking it.
Gotta wait for that lonely neuron to fire.
Yeah.
Right. The creature scrabbles back away from you. Its hood is now awry, and you realize it is a jaguar, or jaguar, if you're American, I suppose. He has a hatchet in one hand, bow across his back, a quiver of arrows in the small of his back, and is wearing light leather armor, which has been painstakingly dappled with dyes and so on to match his spots.
I lean back on my tail and do that 2-footed kick that kangaroos do.
Okay, so combat turns then, I suppose. Initiative is... let me make sure I get it right. Initiative 1, 3, 5.
Has to do with speed.
Yeah. Speed dice plus mind dice, and if you have the tactics skill, you roll that as well. So,
8.
What does Oogla get for initiative?
9.
And what does Kanga get?
8.
And Vim?
7.
And Bara?
6.
6. Okay.
Oh, wow. Just right down in a row.
Yeah.
Couldn't have planned it any better.
Okay, so in the proper rules, right, you have like fast actions and light weapons go first, and then you deal with awkward or big weapons and slow attack. I can't be asked with all that, so we're just going to simplify it so you can move and do an action on your turn. So, Oogla, you might be a bookworm, but your fine predatory instincts have activated, and you see this jaguar facing off against Kanga over in the ferns.
And I have a plan. It's going to make it difficult for some of us, but it's going to have tangential benefits, which of course the unenlightened will never understand, for they are not masters of mysticism. I wish to wave my wing in the direction of the jaguar and silence him, and through him silence all of his friends so they can't communicate with each other.
Okay.
This does have the unfortunate benefit that we can't hear them, and they may or may not get bonuses to sneaking around because our GM may be a horrible monster in his off time. Who knows?
Look at this face. Would I?
For fun, maybe. But I have to actually roll to see if I successfully cast it. So.
Difficulty is 5d8. Oof.
Yeah, no. What it? Yeah.
I know their difficulty is 5d8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you still have to roll against 5d8.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you roll d12, d8, and d4. Yeah.
Crunchier spell.
Okay. You need to beat 7.
Just barely.
Okay. All right. So yes, you cast your invocation, and your magical energies stream out, and suddenly everything goes silent around the jaguar.
Is that supposed to happen?
Well, he said some biggity-boo words and waved a claw at the creature before it happened, so it would be a very odd coincidence if it just happened randomly.
I mean, everything that Ugla has done has suggested that he might be an absent-minded wizard, so maybe it's a horrible accident. Maybe it's all according to plan. You'll never know.
Right.
The important part is that they can't rally and they can't do leadership tests of any sort. And he can't go, "We got him, guys!"
Right. So it's Kanga next. Aru calls up from his pouch.
Fuck him up, Dad. He's a drongo.
So what do I roll here for kicking?
So yes, for kicking, be natural weapons if you have natural weapons. Yes, you do. So it's D4 plus your speed. So your speed. I should have written that down. So
well, there's a couple on there that's like that. That's why I asked about medicine.
Yeah. So it's D4 and a D8 to hit.
Four.
You hit with both paws. Right. So you roll your D6 and your D8 for damage and arrange them from highest to lowest.
7 and 4.
Okay, and then I roll for soap. Highest to lowest. You beat both, so he takes 2 damage.
More importantly, did he get knocked off his feet?
Yeah.
That's really what I was trying for.
Yeah. Well, you beat him 2 levels of damage. So I'm gonna say yes. Hang on, actually, where's the cheat sheet? Right. Okay. If you're struck and harmed, you roll will plus resolve versus the damage roll you just took. So his will is D6. He doesn't have the resolve skill. So what were the 2 rolls you got? It was
7 and 4.
Okay. So that's a failure. So reeling. Okay, so he's knocked reeling, but not down. So he sort of staggers back away from you after the kick and is shoved back a couple of yards. Right. But he seems to be winded, and you may have cracked a rib. Vim.
I'm sure there's not any way I can just leap up there and smack him, huh?
Well, it's down on the ground now. You could leap over and attack him.
I shall do that.
It's also creepy since he's like panting out, but there's no sound.
All right. Make an attack roll with your. I think it's a flail you use.
Yeah. So D20 roll.
No, it is. Where's your character sheet? All right. So you're using your flail.
D12
so
and
D12
D10.
and a D10. Yeah.
D12 and a D10. All right. Okay, added together, it's an 11.
You don't add them together. You read them off whichever one's the highest.
Okay, so 7 and 4.
Okay, so it's a 7, which beats his defense of a 4. So you hit. So now you roll damage with the flail, which is D10 and a D8 and a D4. Roll them all, arrange them in order from highest to lowest.
All right. 443.
443. Okay, so you do 3 levels of damage to it.
Wow.
Yeah, his armor didn't help at all. So he's now taking 5 damage. Right, he has to make a will plus resolve roll versus that 553. He succeeds, so there's no additional effect. He's taken 3 or more wounds, so he has to roll that again. Will be knocked unconscious. So for that first one, this is what I mean about the combat system being a little overly complicated for this. And he hasn't taken 6 wounds yet. He's taken 5, so he's not in threat of dying just yet. But you leap across the space, lash out with your flail with gay abandon, and clat him on the forehead with the swingy end. His eyes roll up into his head, and he falls backwards into the ferns, unconscious.
That'll teach you.
That'll learn him. All right, so we're now out of combat again, and there is an unconscious jaguar laying in the ferns.
Feline win.
Yes, it's
Jaguar's
a big lump
no
on his
match.
head. Nobody sings songs about how wonderful jaguars are. So
no, they don't.
If anything, jaguars and huffalumps are disreputable, awful creatures.
So do we just go ahead and slit this guy's throat?
Well, no. We might need to ask him questions later if we decide
what?
to speak. To find the others and our wider goal.
I thought you saw them already.
That doesn't mean that more information is not useful.
We can interrogate him.
What else do you want to know? It's like, where's their camp? How many are there?
The distribution of their guards, if any. What kind of traps they have set up. Are they following us, watching us? Where there's one, there may be more.
Bara ambles over, places his 2 forepaws on the upper shoulders, inverted commas, of this jaguar, and just sort of leans his nose right into this creature's face, so that when he regains consciousness, he will be he'll be pinned down, and B, he'll have this kind of great slavering mass of teeth, dripping with mead stinking drool, dripping into his face.
That's pretty horrible.
Dead. We should interrogate him. You could torture him. You could set fire to his feet.
Well, I think that would be inappropriate. I do want to look him over, though. Is he wounded? Like, wounds that are going to kill him.
He has a huge lump on his head from where he was hit with a flail, which struck me as the most chaotic possible weapon for a bouncy tiger. He's got bruises on his chest from where you kicked him really hard. He didn't break a rib, but it's definitely bruised to the bone.
So
there.
no lacerations or anything?
Otherwise, there's no lacerations or anything. He's a bit lean and hungry looking, but you would expect that of a bandit, really.
Okay. I just want to make sure he wasn't going to die accidentally. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, I think we should follow Vim's idea and wait till he wakes and question him.
That wasn't my idea. My idea was to go ahead and cut his throat and go attack the bandit camp.
I know. I was trying to use a little more tact about it than you. I thought maybe if I made it your idea, then you'd go with it.
Why?
Because I want him to be killed right now.
The jaguar groans. Oh. Well, except you see the groan rather than hear it, unless Ugla wants to dispel the silence.
I mean, it ends after 3 rounds. So.
Okay, fair enough then. Yeah, so he groans.
You're going to tell us everything about your camp, your guard distribution, guard shifts, and everything else. Otherwise, I'm going to have that bear sit on your face with his tail up.
How brave is he? His will's not that great. And he doesn't have resolve. All right. Staring directly into Bara's gaping, huffing maw, getting a real sense of just how much tooth decay a diet of mead and honey can do to a bear. He decides that he doesn't want to experience the other end of the bear any more than he wants to experience this end of the bear. I will talk. I will spill the beans. What you want to know?
We don't need you to spill beans. We need information.
We have some questions for you.
What you wish to know?
Slap the owl on the ass. Go on.
How intimate. We're interested in the disposition of your camp.
You might want to use English. I don't think he can understand English very well.
Oh, right. Benefits of education. Right. We want to know about how you set up your camp and where you put all your boys and what kinds of tricky widgets you got.
That's better.
Is it? I'm not sure which one I understand the least. I am part of the band of William, the Trespasser. We are freedom fighters, fighting against the evil machinations of the Chamberlain.
Go on.
There are perhaps a half a dozen of us, most of whom are Weasels. But there's also myself, and of course, there is also my good friend Yip, who is an heffalump.
You can't trust weasels.
Oh my, how exciting! Huffle.
That is very racist. I have found many weasels to be excellent company. They are good people. Trifle manic, but yeah. Please, do not kill them. They are good people.
But well, we don't actually aspire to harm men for the working day, if you will. But we are required.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I mean, well, I don't speak for everyone. I don't mean you any particular harm, and I'm certain that your relative well-being is entirely. Oh wait, no, I don't mean you's no harm, but I thinks you'd be good if you
I just
help
put
us
my
out.
fingers over the bird's beak and just close it. Look over at the
Got your
kangaroo.
mouth hole.
Can you get your kid to talk to this guy, because your kid seems to have a really good grasp on language.
Can we set fire to his feet now?
There you go.
No, we're gonna have something fire to his feet.
Oh man.
So I look at him. So which way is this place you live, where your camp is?
He points around Bara. The camp is not that far, that way. We have some alarms, some little bells and things on strings in the woods, but no deadly traps. No, just the noise.
Bara, can you hold him here for a minute? I want to speak to the other two outside of earshot of this guy.
Bara just shifts his weight slightly so it's more onto his front paws, bearing most of his weight down onto this guy's shoulders. What do you think? Are you going anywhere, little cat?
No.
No.
So I ask Ugla and Vim to step aside so we get out of earshot range. Okay, you need to let him go.
Do I have to?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's intelligent, if nothing else. Over talkative, but intelligent.
I'll let him go.
Thank you. What I was trying to espouse
step aside first.
is
Come step aside first.
yeah. Yes.
All right, you step away a short distance and around a tree.
It doesn't look like this is what we signed on for. It seems more and more like, why would they not have lethal traps? Why didn't this guy attack as soon as he saw us? Like, something's not adding up.
I'm sorry to point this out, but that is neither the nature of agreement nor the remit of our interests. We're taking the lawful money of the lawful crown to facilitate a result. The politics are not ours to discern. I was only trying to assert that perhaps if these gentlemen of the wood were to give up their leadership alive, that we could turn him in, that they could be lost in the scuffle. And then no one has to die.
I mean, politics are nice, but at the end of the day, you can't buy drinks with them.
I agree, but I follow the mother, and the mother doesn't take kindly to wanton slaughter for no reason. If things aren't the way they appear, I think we should get to the bottom of that first.
I understand your ethical position, and I even laud it. But the thing of it is let us suppose that they are what they say they are, and that this gentleman we have been sent to acquire is fighting for some notional freedom. He is doing so at the behest of a duke who is a competitor to another duke, which means that even if they are fighting for truth, freedom, and all of that wonderful stuff, their patrons are not.
How do we know? How do we know he's fighting for another duke?
Because that is the land that they are on, and that was the assertion that
that means nothing.
Herald
I'm standing on. That means nothing. I'm standing on the land now, and I'm not part of the duke's retinue.
I'm only positing that there is the potential that this is not what they say it is, but is in fact the competition of great powers that we do not wish to be involved in. We should do our job and then be off with our coin.
Which is why I think we should investigate first, because we don't know if that's true either.
But to what profit? all we do is bring more woe upon ourselves.
To the just? I need to do what's just in the eyes of the mother.
But you also accepted a commission for a practical worldly issue.
Was I paid
Justice
for
may
it?
not apply.
Was I paid for it in advance?
Well, no.
Was anything handed to me? I said I would investigate. That's all.
That is true. That is true.
And that's what I suggest we do.
I only propose that we've already been assaulted once, and even if we approach them in peace and say we just are curious about more, if we do not agree with their positions, they may decide to escalate such violence.
We weren't really assaulted. It was more like we assaulted him.
Friends do not follow friends in stealth. Friends approach openly and make address.
I ain't making no dresses.
Yes, I don't think your tailoring has anything to do with this.
Well, I am, of course, mostly a support role in this, and we are a commune of free individuals, so I will not stand in the way if the decision is to explore more. I only wish to make it known, for whatever passes for the record, that I do not believe it is neither our remit, nor that it will lead to gainful results.
Well, if we investigate and we find out it's all as we were told, then we carry it out. If we investigate and we find out that it wasn't, then we don't. I don't understand what's so difficult about that. Either way, knowledge is power. If we have to get rid of them, knowing more about them first will make getting rid of them easier.
Yeah, that is true. Learning things is not without value, but I am not in favor of making value judgments before that information is acquired. So
I just wanted to bring it up because it seems like we were on a course for murder without any forethought.
well, I don't intend to murder anyone.
What do you call bringing his head?
They didn't specify he had to be disconnected from his body. We could bring his
No,
head. by
actually,
bringing a
he
living
did.
person.
The man with the purse literally said to bring his head. That
Yes.
was literally spoken.
Yes, if he's still attached to his body, but we have his head, he's alive. That's how that works.
No, you're the man with the purse, the well-tailored rabbit said that we were literally being charged to bring his head.
Yes, but we are not responsible for justice. We are merely collecting.
Yes, and when you suggested that we could just bring him back and let them deal with it, the man said, no, we must bring back his head.
It looks like Vim has the casting vote in this confrontation.
I just want to get paid.
There's plenty of ways to get paid. And like I said, if we investigate first, we can at least find out whether we're killing an honest man or a criminal.
He's out here in the woods with a bow and all this other stuff. He's nothing honest about it.
We don't know that. He might be being set up.
Oh, so you mean somebody else set up the blanket and the archery gear and is trying to frame him?
I'm saying we should investigate first. Not saying we can't take care of it if we must, but we should investigate first.
I look at the bear.
Well, the bear's way over there.
Sitting on the jaguar.
Yeah, you look at the bear's ass end, basically.
Yeah. Look, I walked into that town without a coin to my name. I had to chop woods to get a drink.
So if you had a coin, would it be better?
Let's just say I'm a man with very few options.
I take the silver piece that was given to me and hold it up to him. Is this worth investigating first?
Fine.
I give him the coin.
All right. Tigers can be bought. All right, and then presumably you go back over to the Jaguar and Bara.
Someone's typing up a storm.
Well, what are you going to do to me? Please don't let the bear sit on me anymore.
We're going to sodomize you to death.
I long for the sign back in town. No. No.
Oh,
coincidentally, on a nearby tree hangs a sign that says "No yiffing."
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get that part of the plan wrong? Sorry.
Yeah. Stick your thumb right up its butthole.
I think you need to explain to us exactly what it is your band has been trying to do. Why are you attacking the taxmen and the collectors and stuff?
Our leader, William, the trespasser, it's him. He knew the Duke before he went to the Crusades, where he met the rest of us. And when he returned, he said the Duke is not the Duke. And so we seek to undermine those forces that have usurped the Duke.
So
who is he if he's not the Duke?
It's the Chamberlain is running things.
So has anyone seen the Duke?
He is screened off. So the Chamberlain does all his interactions with the world. And so no one is any supervisor.
It does seem a little weird.
Some say they have met the Duke, but the Duke is a strange breed, an animal unlike any other.
Ugla, have you seen the Duke of late? You are going around signing papers and officiating at things. Have you seen a word of him or heard of him?
To your knowledge, nobody's seen the Duke in quite some time. He was always fairly private and only really mixed with the upper echelons.
How much has the way local politics and like taxing and stuff changed since they started this banditry? Was there a noticeable change beforehand?
So, to Ugla's knowledge, taxes have gone up quite a bit, and if people can't pay in coin, it's being taken in goods, and from the harvest and so on. It's a bit of a squeeze, but it's not hugely oppressive. Inconvenient, certainly, but then there were just bunches of wars and things.
Help! Being repressed.
Yes, I thought we were an autonomous collective.
You're the king? Well, I didn't vote for you.
Look, all I'm saying is, strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is not a basis for a good system of government.
In this world, the Lady of the Lake is probably a frog.
True.
That'd be the Princess of the Lake.
Can Ugla make a literacy roll to see if any pennies drop?
Absolutely. Six.
6. Okay. Now you think about it, for the last few seasons, all of the appointments to the nobility have, well, almost all of them, have come from amongst the rabbits, mostly from the friends and relations of Chamberlain Coney. There is definitely, now you think back to it, there is definitely a bit of a bias. You've written out a lot of contracts and read a lot of contracts for people, and there's been a general sort of shift and level of unfairness, moving power and property and farmland and so on away from the other animals and towards the rabbits. But the rabbits are already pretty numerous, so they already had quite a lot of power, but it's more.
Yeah. Given the recent conversation, though Oogla knows this, he's not in a mindset to explain the complexities of population density. And be like, even if there is a conspiracy, there are enough rabbits that the likelihood a rabbit would be picked is really high.
But even so, you think there's a certain amount of in-group bias going on.
Well, of course, they're all related. They're all related, right?
Yes.
Have I noticed the same thing with my travels through the area?
You're not as clued in to the local politics and so on.
But I mean,
back home,
I can notice the difference in races, right? Like I noticed there's almost no races of anything but rabbits in charge. Like all the tax guys are rabbits, all the toll collectors are rabbits, all that.
I mean, the culture here is different to back in your homeland where you traveled around and, people would regularly put coins and other things into your begging bowl. People are a bit more penny pincher here, but a lot of people were very apologetic and said they just didn't have anything spare to give you on your travels more recently. Vim's noticed the same thing, being a vagabond looking for bits of work here and there. Things are a bit tight everywhere.
All right, so when Oogla finally informs us of what he knows, we'll basically confirm it then. Well, why don't we go and see this this trespassier and see what he has to say?
Yeah. If the bear gets off me, then perhaps I can lead you to the camp and make sure you're not filled full of arrows. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll make sure you don't have any weapons on you first.
Just my hatchet and my bow.
Well, we take those away from him, obviously.
Now, may I please have my hands? I can't feel them.
Bara, can you get off him so we can head to their camp?
All right. With a distinct look of disappointment that he won't be picking jaguar flesh out from between his teeth in the immediate future. Sits back.
Okay, he retrieves his paws, which are now all loose and floppy because all the feeling has gone out of them. I would shake hands, but my name is Fritz.
Well, we lean down, help him to his feet.
All right. Normally we take a break about halfway through, and we're past 2 hours. So
that sounds good.
With you being led to camp, let's take a quick break of. Do you want 10 minutes or 15 minutes break?
10 good.
Yeah, 10's fine.
Yeah, as long as I got
all right.
Take some cough medicine.
We shall return in about 10 minutes. See you then. Meet yourselves.
What are we gonna do?
Grim, that's how it looks.
I'll take Grim right now.
I am the Grim Reaper.
Bit grim.
Them bosses are good.
And make it grim.
A grim tale indeed.
It's a little grim.
Meaningless and grim.
It's the Grim.
It's Grim.
Pretty grim, huh?
Things look grim.
Hopefully everyone's back. Sound off. Roll call.
I'm here.
Yep.
Yep.
Shirt. You're there. You're muted. Maybe he needs a minute. So let's give him a minute. Anything from the chat? I'm given to understand that the rules in general are a bit better organized and better thought out in the second edition, but I don't know that much about it.
If I was to give one criticism of second edition, just overall, they really need to put out for a layout guy, because the PDFs, while very beautiful, and the physical book, while very beautiful, is indexed, and the table of contents are almost useless. Actually finding things, if you haven't played it a half dozen times, is very bad.
Lots of games have that problem, though.
It's true. I think layout is one of the great overlooked things. Like, I don't have to pay for layout guys. I could just, it's like, take the hit, pay for the layout guy, for the love of God.
Yeah, or learn to do it better yourself.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have raccoons in the UK, so I always forget about raccoons. But no, that's a badger. It's a European badger. Yeah, they're not like American badgers or honey badgers. European badgers are the type that would invite you in for a cup of tea, and the other badgers are the kind that rip your face off.
Just as a point of clarification, are we actually in the dukedom from which I was disgraced?
Yes, that's where we were.
All right, cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, T-shirt can join back in when he turns up.
It would probably suit Yora's needs if it turned out that his former boss is a current jerk.
Well, yes, I mean, unfortunately, most of that conversation, in fact, all of the conversation in which that might have been established was held elsewhere. So that might have to come as a revelation in his very slow brain later on.
Also, possibly for the best.
Fortunately, in this dukedom, you have the right to arm bears.
Bum, bum, bum.
I mean, he's never without arms. He has his bare hands.
Yes. Raccoon's been pushing west from Germany. An invasive pest. Well, I like raccoons.
The German raccoons will cross the channel. The Krieg is upon you.
I like trash pandas. They're fine. I would welcome them with open arms and locked bins.
I now actually think that needs to be a Gamma World if you ever run Gamma World.
That's a glorious raccoon Reich.
Raccoon.
Invasion of
Raccoon.
raccoons into the post-apocalyptic UK. Little tanks and gunboats.
Aha! I'll take it that means T-shirt's back because he's no longer muted.
Yeah.
Good.
Was making some food.
All right. So, what are you going to do with Fritz, and what are you going to do about approaching the camp?
We got to tie up Fritz, obviously.
Yep.
I mean, if anything, if we are serious about investigating with these individuals, bringing Fritz back to them in good order and well taken care of will go a long way to showing our positive intent, and will give us an in to have that conversation rather than having to stock up on them.
Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt your new girlfriend. Let's go.
And which of us exactly have opposable thumbs to tie him up with?
We all do.
That's kind of hand waved a bit. So yeah, you
I thought I'd choose now. I thought I'd choose this moment to insert a bit of bioessentialism into the conversation.
Oh no!
I mean, the opposability of your thumbs may in fact be determined by your race dice, as having a higher species puts you closer to your primal ancestors. So Bara might not have thumbs, but I have thumbs on my wings somehow. We don't ask questions.
Just look at my picture. You know I have thumbs.
This is why it's Aryan raccoons as a master race.
Because they haven't met the gorillas yet.
In the mist. Waiting for
anyway.
their chance.
All right. So yeah, Fritz directs you after you have him tied up, trussed up, and you follow a little path through the woods, deeper into the woods where they're less maintained, and you start to smell wood smoke as you approach the camp. However, Fritz was their guard, so they're not really looking out for or expecting you, and so you have a moment to take in the sight before you decide what to do. There's a little bit of a clearing here. A lot of dead wood seems to have been picked up and put into a wood pile to feed their little fire, but they have it mostly covered and spread out so the smoke doesn't concentrate or form a plume. You can smell cooking lizard meat, and it looks like they've got some sort of set out on sticks by the fire. There is about a half dozen weasels scattered about, and there's also an enormous heffalump who makes Bara look like the way you guys look next to Bara. So it's quite a big fellow. The leader.
What's a heffalump?
Elephant.
An elephant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Peccadillo.
Never heard that word.
You need to read Winnie the Pooh.
I did, like when I was 6.
Did you remember it?
No.
The guy you take to be William Trespassé has slightly better looking shiny leather armor than the rest of them, and he still has his crest on his cloak, which is a weasel rampant. Or an ermine rampant, I suppose. If you want to be all posh about it. But they haven't spotted you yet.
I think one of us should go in before the others. Since I'm carrying Rue, why don't you let me go first, as I look the least intimidating.
And you have a baby shield.
You guys agree or no?
On.
Okay, well, I'll head up first then.
Okay. So yeah, you move through the ferns and underbrush quietly and emerge at the edge of the clearing. When they notice you, they all sort of immediately reach for their weapons and sort of jump up to attention. They're all weasels, apart from the Heffalump, so they're all pretty quick off the mark. And
come in with hands open.
Yeah. William's like, "Steady, lads," and then he approaches you, taking your strange foreign attire and the odd shape of you. "I think you've stumbled into the wrong place, good sir."
I smelled your fire. I thought there was some place to sit and relax with my son.
There's no place for a child. We are landless bandits.
Oh, so you're bandits?
Indeed. Dangerous ones at that. Cutthroats. Proper villains.
You don't look all that dangerous, except for your friend, and I point at the Huffalump.
Yes, that is my friend. What did I name him? That is my friend Yip.
Well, would you allow me to sit and speak for a bit and give my son some milk?
Really, I strongly do suggest that you move on. After all, now that we've been found, we'll have to break camp. It's a wonder that Fritz didn't spot you on the way in.
Oh, you mean the German Jaguar guy that we tied up? Yeah, we got him.
So you've come in closer behind Kanga as well.
You actually there? Or you're just spouting off as a player?
No, I'll move in. I mean, I'm a tiger. I'm sneaky.
Right, they go even more on alert a bit when you speak up. Like a couple of the more nervous ones, and weasels are highly strung, do draw their swords. So no, they're actually armed with daggers. Most of them. Okay, dirks. Draw their dirks when the tiger appears.
I was going to tell you my friends were coming behind, but apparently he's quicker than that.
Well, we're at the ready now, so should you try anything, you shall be in considerable trouble. But by all means, bring your friends forth.
An army of weasels against a tiger. This ought to be funny.
So give a whistle to the rest so they know to come up.
Yeah. Weasels ripped my flesh. That's the... Okay.
Give a whistle to the others so Oogla and them know to come up.
Okay.
Yep. I think probably the weasel is tied, and then I'm holding the other end of the rope. Sorry, not weasel.
Jaguar.
Jaguar. Yes, and I'm holding the other end of the rope. So he's capable of walking.
Dirks are quite serious. There's little ceremonial ones that Scotsmen wear attached to their kilts, but they're actually long daggers in their proper form.
Oh, we got a badass in the chat. They're on Team Mustaday.
Mustaday, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the rest of you emerge. The weasels remain on guard, but relax a little bit. Yip, the Heffalump, picks himself up onto his enormous, great round feet and sort of sizes up Bara.
Well, that's quite the match.
Yes. Who would win? Elephant versus bear.
They proceed to flex in only that way that muscle men can do.
So, since we need to get to the point, I look at the Lord, their leader, and say, "Do you know that they sent people into the woods to seek you out and slay you?"
Yeah, well, they've sent guards before. We've sent them packing. I must insist that you release our friend Fritz.
Oh, that would be easy enough. Can you release him, Bara?
Bara's looking profoundly confused because he thought we were the people who were coming here to kill them.
We are.
But yes, he doesn't untie him. He just lets go of the other end of the rope so that the jaguar can wend his way into the midst of his own people.
Fritz wanders over to his own people who cut through the ropes and release him. All very civil. Now, why don't you be on about your way? We have to break camp and find somewhere else to stay.
Well, I'd really like to find out why is it you are preying on the road and on the officials that come this way.
Well, I'm sure you've been told why we're doing it. We're outlaws and madmen, driven crazy by our times in the Crusades. Isn't that right, my lads?
Well, I'm sure that's the myth they want us to believe, but what's the truth of it?
The truth of it? Oh, you are far from home. The truth is a dangerous thing, my long-eared friend. Are you sure you want to know the truth?
Well, I mean,
it's a heavy burden.
If it avoids us, getting into a big fight and killing each other,
then
you should tell us.
Well, yes, your honey-smelling friend seems to want a big fight.
Well, he's overeager.
Well, the truth is, if you must know, this is your last chance to remain ignorant and blissful. Very well. The Duke is dead. The Chamberlain rules in his stead, greedy for power. He squeezes the people just enough that it goes relatively unnoticed. But he removes their wealth to other places, which is why we've set camp here, to stop the wealth being taken out of the area. And everything else he gives to his friends and relations, who are seemingly unending in their numbers. I wish to disrupt what he is doing and to bring the truth out to everyone. But it's hard when so many have bonds of blood to the Chamberlain.
Do you have any proof that the Baron is actually dead?
The Duke? I met him before I left for the Crusade, despite his reticence to mingle with others. And I met him on my return. He was not the same person.
It is literally an imposter in his place?
Indeed, wearing his skin, you might say. Oh, thank you, Hunger.
How can we bring this to the populace if it's true? If he's being held away by the Chamberlain.
Storm the palace, expose the truth, but I do not yet have enough men for such a thing. You could always join us.
We could, but I'm afraid my friends here are more interested in the money than truth.
Well, money, I'm afraid we don't have. We return it to the poor and destitute of the dukedom. Minus a little to keep ourselves operating, of course.
Hang on a moment.
Yes, good sir. Take all the moments you wish.
The Duke is dead.
Sadly, I believe so. Stout bear.
And Coney is now in charge.
Yes. He has taken the place of the Duke.
And issues all the orders.
Correct.
And decides who is hired and who is dismissed.
Indeed, good bear.
And Barra, who's been up on his hind legs trying to be intimidating up to this point, now sits down with a heavy thud and puts his front paws over his ears, puts his head down and sort of starts shaking his head slowly as if he's trying to think something through.
You said you met with the Baron before and, you were part of the nobility. Do you have anything that belonged to the Baron? Ugla, the spellcaster here, seems to be able to scry on things.
When I left, the Duke did give me a token of the mother to bless me, and perhaps that might be of some use to you. He unclasps a pendant from around his neck, which depicts the mother goddess, and hands it over.
It may take me some time to marshal the prowess, so I beg patience as you discuss. Before I can actually make this check, Grim, I need to roll for meditation so I can get a little bit of magic back.
Okay.
Is there a way for me to invest magic in somebody else? Like to transfer?
Sadly not, plus you operate by 2 different schools of magic. So it's a bit tricky.
So what's my difficulty there?
2.
Okay, well I got a 7 and a 4. So
Okay.
Yay.
So, yeah. And then you need to cast the spell.
Yes. Which is 12, 8, 4.
Is it scry or locate you're doing?
I assumed it was locate.
Okay.
Because scry would be to find magic objects, not individuals. I think the intent is to see if we can locate the actual location of the Duke.
Okay. So difficulty 3d6. Okay, difficulty 6.
Okay. I got a 5. But the thing is, there's nothing preventing me from trying again. I just need to take the time to gather the magic. So it's really more of a question of how patient do our hosts want to be.
Well, now you seem to have found some sort of, peace between each other. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be.
Okay, well, if we assume, we can certainly roll for more meditation if you want, but if we assume that there's going to be roughly a success per attempt, it's going to take 3 hours before I can try again. Because it's a point an hour.
I can easily see Barra taking 3 hours going, Duke?
Right.
Yeah, you can see the equations floating around.
Do you want me to roll the meditation, or do you just want me to roll the locate again?
Yes, this time the difficulty is 2.
Okay. Extra concentration. He just stares with his owl eyes at it.
Yeah.
Jim, I have a scry spirit. Could that be used to like seek out and find information? Like the description is what?
It senses supernatural beings, spells, or events. So it's more it's more like detect magic.
Okay. I was sure if it was like a spirit you summoned. You know what I mean?
No, it's
Well, if the Duke happens to be dead, you might be able to find his ghost. So that's
true.
fun.
Did you succeed that one?
I got an 11. I succeeded a lot.
Okay. You sense most of the Duke's body is buried in a shallow grave somewhere in the woods to the south of here.
Oh boy.
That's not right.
Do you tell us that?
Yes, I will point in the direction and say, the Duke has been buried in a unconsecrated grave some way to the south.
Wait, half a lump. Yeah. Looks like we should go dig him up.
You know where his body is? That would be something in the way of proof.
If we
We'll
get
tell you for a price.
if we get closer, maybe I can contact his spirit. Can you lead us to the spot?
Yes. Can you?
I certainly can. If it is within 5 leagues, I will be certain. At least that's what I read.
Right.
But there's about a 20% margin of error according to this the spell look. So as we get closer, you may have to check again.
Lads, break camp. When we return, we'll find somewhere new for the night. Very well. Good owl. Lay on.
Very well. Though, as we set foot, I must ask a delicate question of you.
By all means.
We were discussing the situation before we arrived, and you are on the land of a different dukedom.
Yes. Baron Greenback rules these lands.
Yes. Is it merely a place of comfort, or are you being patient?
Baron Silas Greenback?
Yeah, I see you know him.
But are you being patroned by the same?
No, the Baron has a somewhat lax attitude towards law and order within his domain, and so we find it useful to be able to retreat across the border here.
His henchmen call him Baroni.
Yes, see Baroni.
Only curious, you understand, because while I understand why you style yourselves banditry, a tool to an end, it does permit the Chamberlain to set the tone for interactions. You can have
True.
this proof, but it may not be enough to convince other nobles of standing that you are not exactly what you are said to be.
It will be a start. Right.
Barra suddenly
So-
jerks his head up. That buck-toothed bastard!
And the penny drops.
It almost kind of sounds like this is like a to be continued kind of thing. But
It's probably will be, but we shall go for a bit longer yet. All right. So, William knows the woods quite well, and so between him and Ugla, you are able to traverse the woods to the south and to find the site of the grave. There's just a little hump of earth, some bluebells growing on and around it. And as far as Ugla's magic is concerned, this is the spot.
hope you brought a shovel.
We have a bear.
Yes, and I will visually start digging, rooting out great clods of earth.
Yes. It is a shallow grave, emphasis on the shallow, so it does not take very long before you dig up some wet sackcloth, which appears to have something very foul-smelling inside it.
And as soon as this is apparent, Barra will sort of slope off, waving his head from side to side mournfully.
But let us hope the Baron's remains have not become animate in his anger.
Duke. It's Baron Greenback. It was a duke in this area. It's a duchy.
Right.
Sorry.
Let us hope the noble remains have not become aggressive.
Are you going to open the sack? Anyone?
Hell yeah!
I mean, the bear is beside himself. I would think perhaps the priest best.
Yeah, if no one else does, I'll do it.
remains.
Ah, fuck it. The tiger will rip it open.
Yeah. While you're deciding, Vim, in his impetuous nature, tears open the sackcloth. Inside is a rotten, bloody body. None of you have actually really seen the Duke before, but the remains are pretty hard to identify. They're definitely not like any other animal you've ever seen, but presuming it is the Duke, someone has skinned him.
This is fucked.
Are there any clothing or other things that would mark him as the Duke's body?
No, there is no clothing, nothing. Just a skinned, rotten corpse.
So they're literally walking around in his skin.
So could I try to use that scry spirits to see if I can contact his ghost?
Sense supernatural beings, spells, or events.
I think a ghost is
Yeah.
being, isn't it?
Yeah. That may well be a vengeful spirit. All right. Yeah, so roll D12 and D10. Take the highest. The difficulty
9
is
and 8.
Okay. I didn't note down the cost for that one, but never mind. All right. Yes, you get an overwhelming success. As the moon peeks out from the clouds overhead, a ghostly apparition appears. Again, like no animal you've ever seen before, but even in his spirit form, his skin is missing because his body has been defiled. So what looks like a flayed creature appears above the grave and groans in supernatural agony. Oh!
Who are you, Spectre?
I'm about to shit myself.
I was the Duke.
And how did you come to this predicament?
I died peacefully in my bed, in my sleep. But then, then the Chamberlain, that scheming, backstabbing little furry bastard, defiled my corpse.
Do you know where your skin lies?
He's wearing it.
He wears my skin in the ducal palace when he wishes to masquerade as me. I cannot rest until my skin is returned to me.
Command me, your grace. What should I do?
Skite Bara, loyal bear, avenge me!
Good Baron, do you know any ways into your palace that would be unknown to the peasantry?
I was a Duke.
Everyone keeps forgetting. It's sorry, North American man. We don't have those here.
Ask a question.
Do you know any way into your castle that wouldn't be known to the average person? An escape route or other passage?
You could climb in through the lavatory.
Through the shitter?
Yes, in the common parlance.
Well, I have fur, so that I'm not going.
There's no sally ports or anything in case of attack.
This castle is supposed to be impenetrable. The ghost abruptly vanishes, leaving a little wisp of glowing light in the air. Suddenly, you see lanterns in the woods around you, and a voice you recognize as that of the Rabbit Herald sounds out. That's quite enough of that. You couldn't, leave well alone, could you?
Immediately charge him down and try and kill him.
Okay. Not the Chamberlain, but he'll make a good stand-in. Okay. Right. Well, this will be the climax of the session. The irrecoverable harshness of battle. Right. So, roll your initiative, which is mind and speed. Tell me the highest roll. Rabbit, 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 rabbit.
I got a 10.
Just remember the number for the moment. So, mind and speed. Okay, so what did Ugla get?
A 9.
What did Kanga get?
Oh, sorry. I was looking something up. We're doing initiative?
Yeah.
Speed, right?
Yeah.
5.
And mind, and take the highest.
Oh, shit. Still 5.
Okay, and Vim got 10, was it?
Yes.
And Bara got...
And ironically, given the stated intentions, Barra got 4, but I imagine he's working his way up from a slow start.
Yes. 0 to 60 in 10 turns. All right. So let's organize that into order.
Look, he's slow, but he's like a freight train. Once he's started, he does not stop.
Inertia is a terrible thing. Okay, so we start with Vim. There are lights in the woods around you. You estimate there to be 4 or 5 guardsmen in the woods.
Well, it appears that we're going to have to fight, so just reach for the nearest one and smash his face in with Mr. Flail.
Is that the brand name, Mr. Flail?
Mr. Flail. D12 and D10. So.
Okay.
That's Mr. Farming Implement to you.
I got a 5 and a 1.
5 and a 1. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you dash towards the nearest one. He's holding a lantern in his offhand, so he can't use his shield, which is slung on his back. So he has no choice but to try and dodge. He got 6. What was your attack roll?
1 and a 5. 5 and 1.
So yeah, the rabbit guard who suddenly hoves into view. Ears suddenly flat, looks terrified, and scrambles backwards away from you. Your flail smashes into the ground in front of him. Ugla.
Ugla is going to take the focus action, which basically means I don't do anything this turn, so that next turn I can do something with more focus. Because I'm not a fighter, I'm a thinker.
Right. The herald just stands there and screams, "Kill them! Kill them all!"
Of course he does.
He's
a coward.
All right. The bunny Vim attacked. Tries to belt you back one with his mace. So can you make a dodge roll, please?
I can attempt. It's not a skill I possess, so.
I think you just roll your speed then.
All right.
If you don't have the dodge skill.
Got a big old huge 9.
Okay. You're far too fast and bouncy. You sort of leap and pounce around him as he swings fruitlessly at empty air. Another one of the rabbits moves forward, lifting his lantern high and wielding his mace in his other hand, but he's moving forward cautiously so he doesn't get into combat yet. Kanga.
Did. Look him up.
I draw my katana and then do a quick circle around myself and Ugla and cast Circle of Protection.
Okie doke. Circle of Protection, difficulty 2d12, must concentrate, provides 2d12 protection to anyone within that circle. Okay, roll d12 and a d10.
Uh, 6 and 11.
Okay. All right. You succeed incredibly well by over 5. So let's say it boosts the protection to 3d12. So yeah, you draw your katana and sweep it in a circle around the two of you, and the ground glows slightly, and the air shimmers between you and the armed guard rabbits. So remember that. Right. The other rabbits move forward, so there's like a loose circle around the grave area. And then last, it's Bara.
Yeah, well, he's heading for the chamberlain, not the chamberlain, the herald.
Herald, yeah.
Yep.
It's the closest thing to the chamberlain nearby.
So it was 2d8 plus a d6. I got an 8, a 5, and a 3, respectively.
Okay, so that's an 8 is the highest to hit. Highest he got was a 5, so that is a hit. A palpable hit.
Okay.
So now you need to roll the damage.
2d8 plus d10. And that is an 8 on one of the d8s, 6 on the d10.
Yeah, arrange them in order.
So 8 on the d8, 6 on the d10, 4 on the other d8.
So it's 8, 6, 4. He only has 2 dice of soak. He rolled a 6 and a 2. So you do 3 levels of damage to him, which means he needs to make a will and resolve roll. He doesn't have resolve, so just will. Which he fails. All right. What's your weapon?
So it's a little bit like the cave troll stabbing Frodo in Moria, but this little bastard doesn't have a mithril shirt. One-handed.
All right. Yeah, so you come bounding up, slam into the herald while he's screaming, "Kill them, kill them," and hurtle him aside into one of the trees. He hits it incredibly hard. It knocks all the air out of his body, and he can't get oxygen back in fast enough and passes out and faints. So he's knocked out. So that's him out of the fight. Right, and then everyone's gone. So, new turn. Keep the same initiative, because can't be asked with re-rolling that. Vim.
Well, I missed Bunny Boy, so let's see if he can dodge my second attack.
Go for it. Make your attack roll.
All right. 7 and 8. Ooh, much better.
Okay, you hit. Roll damage.
All right, give me a sec. Let's see, it's 10, 8, 4.
10, 8, 4.
So 7, 6, 1.
Okay. So you got 7, 6, 1. He has a soak of D10 and D6. He got 8. So soaked that and 6. Which soaked that, and you rolled a 1, so that's no damage. Okay. So you swing the flail around and around and clout into him, hitting him on top of the head, but his helmet just clangs. And he staggers a bit, but seems otherwise unaffected. But still a hit, a palpable hit. Oogla.
Okay, so Oogla has been watching the situation and will take an action according third rank maneuver. We don't need to get into the particulars of how it works, but if successful, it'll be overwhelmingly successful because it's a focused attack.
Okay.
And the form that this takes is basically he wants to make the skirmish circuit where you fly out, hit somebody, and then fly back into the protective circle.
Yeah.
Right. But his target with his little claw feet, for he has no weapons of note, possibly strike out with his stick, whatever's better, is he wants to actually hit the hand of a opponent carrying the lantern, which is fragile and delicate and full of fire.
Okay. All right, make your attack roll.
Excellent.
You only need to beat 2, for he has rolled poorly.
Right. And then hopefully I can get back into the circle before I am peppered with arrows and battered with clubs.
Yeah.
I will roll double 1s, for the powers are not with me.
All right. So, yes, you concentrate, focus, get all your senses keenly honed in onto the world around you. But you're so fixated upon the rabbit guards that when you fly out, you fly headfirst into a tree and mildly daze yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you don't get back within the circle.
No.
Okay.
Barra just sort of shrugs at this. What do you expect? Fucking idiot thinks the world's round.
Right. One of the rabbits opportunistically springs forth to lay about Ugla with his mace. You may dodge, though.
We will attempt the dodge without skill. So that's a speed dice, is it?
Yes, that's a speed dice. You need to beat 6.
No, I will take that clonking on the noggin.
Yes, you are clonked. Let's see.
That's a body
Make a
D4 and a robe's D4. So 2D4 to soak. And I am frail.
Yes.
They're going to break the little owl man.
Yeah, hollow bones, the price you pay.
That's true. I got 1 success.
Well, what did you roll?
A 4 and a 3.
Okay, so you still take 1 level of damage.
Yep.
But you don't need to worry about consciousness or death rolls yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, he lands a glancing blow, mostly because you hit the tree so hard and bounced back more than he was expecting.
Oh, how rude.
Yeah. From the side of Bara, one of the rabbits rather foolishly tries to strike at his side. You can either dodge or you can parry. If you parry, you use your weapon skill. If you use your shield, you add your shield's cover.
So if I use my shield, I'd be rolling 2d8 plus d6. Is that right? That's what it says under shield skills.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Shield, 2d8 round shield and a d6.
Yep.
But shields also provide you cover dice, which I think you roll as well. Let me just check. Which would be 2d10, I think, on top of the rest.
Yes, 2d10 cover dice, it says here under the equipment list.
Let me just double check. Cover 127. Cover makes you harder to hit. In game terms, cover dice are defense dice that are included with any of your defense rolls, parry, block, dodge, etc. Okay, so yes.
Okay. So I need to grab another d10 here. Hold on one second. All right. Okay. So in... do I need to do this in descending order?
No, this is just highest number.
Okay,
with
8.
The hit roll.
Okay, 8.
Okay. Yes, this rabbit flails feebly at your side. You just kind of set your shield in the way and let him hit it. Yeah. What a dumbass. Right, it is now Kanga's go.
I quickly step out from the circle, grab Oogla, and pull him back in.
Okay, yeah. He doesn't weigh very much at all, so you're able to drag him by the neck of the robe and pull him back into the circle of protection with no trouble.
I assume that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 more rabbit guards hurtle forth and try to engage Barrow because they're dumb. Is it more difficult to defend against multiple
Barrow is not outnumbered. He is in a target-rich environment.
Yes. Just let me quickly look up defense. Deference, defense, defenseless targets. Maybe it's under dodge.
So glad nobody has a gun.
That would have blown up in somebody's face by now.
Undoubtedly. That spark die is no one's friend.
No, there are no limits on the number of times a combatant can dodge in one round. So, fair enough. But just roll your dodge once for all of these attacks.
Dodge or standing to use a shield.
Or you can parry with your shield, yeah.
Yep, fine. Okay. So, yes, highest on that is a 10 on one of the d10s, yes.
Yeah. I think I'm confusing the parry rolls with ones from a different game. This is the trouble with playing so many different games. Okay, there is no way they're beating you, so... they flail ineffectually at your shield. One thing you're definitely good at is fighting. And now it is your turn.
And is Oogla still seemingly helpless?
He's been dragged back into the circle of protection and doesn't look quite so cross-eyed anymore.
Yeah, but he was just floored, wasn't he? Okay, so I'm going to move back, and I'm literally going to stand over Oogla on my hind legs, standing over him. And if there's any in range, I'll strike at them, but otherwise I will just wait for them to come to me.
You're a bear, and I think you have a spear, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, so you can shift your grip towards the bottom of the spear and stab at range, so you can still reach one.
Okay,
yeah.
So for attack rolls, was 6 on a d8, 4 on a d8, 4 on a d6.
So what's
6.
the highest roll?
6.
Okay. No, he manages to duck under the spearhead as you lash out with it. All right, new turn. Vim.
Okay. This guard is still in a state of being alive.
Yeah, unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Thing is, though, apparently my favorite weapons are my claws. How does that actually affect anything?
It will probably make it easier to hit. I think if you roll a 1, you get to re-roll if it's your favored weapon, I think.
Yeah, if you roll a 1, you get to select 1 from any failures and re-roll that 1. So it could be the lowest dice, could be the largest dice, but if it's a 1, you get to re-roll 1 of them.
Well, then, throwing down his flail in frustration, Vim goes with teeth and claws.
Roar.
He's going Tigger mode!
I also have a lot more
thing-
dice with that too.
Wonderful thing about Tigers is Tigers are wonderful things. They'll open you from guts to your gizzard.
6-2-1. Damn it, that one again every time.
So just 6. This is just the to hit roll. Okay. He attempts to dodge.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Well, this is just a to hit roll. It's all added together, isn't it?
No.
No, it's just the highest one.
Okay, so
But-
6.
But because you have favored use, if you haven't used it, you can re-roll that 1, which might be a higher result depending on the die it is.
I doubt it. It's a D4. It turned into a 3, so yeah, the 6 is still the highest.
Yeah, 6 is still the highest.
Okay, you hit. So now you roll damage for your claws. Claws and
D6 and D8, which isn't as much as the flail, but still 4 and 5 is really, really good.
Yeah. What's his soak with his armor? Sorry, what did you roll?
4 and a 5, or 5 and a 4.
Okay, so that's 2 levels of damage. So not enough to knock him out yet, but does make him worse for wear. Okay. All right, so you throw down the flail in annoyance and leap forward, lashing and biting. Bits of ringmail come away in your claws and in your teeth, and you cut through his fur to the flesh beneath. He gives a high-pitched squeal and tries to back away from you, and you just follow on after him, clawing and biting. Right. Ugla.
The getting up is not hard, but he basically has to use this turn to get steady, to end reeling after having been walloped and then dragged.
Peace was never an option.
So you gather yourself.
Yeah.
Right. The rabbit facing off against Vim tries to recover and actually I need to roll his resolve first. Okay, actually you managed to knock him down.
Yay!
So yeah, he's down on the ground, and all he can really do is scramble up to his feet. So that's what he does.
He can butt scoot.
One of the rabbit guards stops at some distance away from where everyone else is sort of bunched up, and sets down his lantern on the floor. Kanga.
Are any of them within katana reach?
You could dash forward and strike, but you'd be outside the circle of protection.
Can I take a hop back after I make the strike?
I'd make you make a jumping roll, so you might fail.
All right, I'll try that.
Okay. So you charge forward and attack. Make your attack roll.
So what am I attacking with here?
Katana. Should be under skills.
Sword?
Yeah. So D12 and D8.
10 and 7.
You need to, okay. 10 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not sure what the effect of critical hits is, so I will improvise and make a ruling. So bump up the damage to D12, 2D12 and a D6. No, 2D12 and 2D6, sorry.
Oh, shit. Just lost my die. There it is. So 9764. 9764.
9764. Yes. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage in a single strike. So
Sounds impressive.
yeah, it is. So it's a death save versus D6 and consciousness save versus D12. And even if it's not, that's what I'm making it. So death save difficulty 2. Succeed. Consciousness save. Unconscious. Okay, so you dart forward, slash across this rabbit guard, cut through much of the ring mail, even though it's meant to protect against swords. It slashes down the front, opening it up, breaking some of the links, cutting the flesh beneath. He squeals and falls back into the ferns and underbrush, knocking over the lantern, which spills oil and flares in the middle of this little clearing. So he is out. Right.
5 and a 1 to jump back.
I'll make it D6 difficulty. You fail to jump back. You are kind of surprised by your own success and stumble a bit trying to withdraw. Two other rabbit guards form up alongside their unconscious, bleeding fellow and set down their own lanterns. Bara.
If none of the rabbits are actually attacking me, can I lean forward and reach Kanga and drag him back into the circle?
Yes, because you are a big fellow.
Then I will do that.
All right, so you reach forward, grab Kanga by the back of the robe, and pull Kanga back into the circle.
Okay.
All right, new turn. Vim, continue eating this rabbit. Or do you want to try something else?
Hello?
Shirt.
What?
It's your go.
Is it?
Yes. Do you want to continue eating the rabbit?
Seems like a good move.
Okay.
I mean, I've got him down. This is just perfect. Can I use teeth also?
Yes.
They're listed separately, so
yeah, we will. I kind of roll them in together, but you can choose whichever one you want to favor.
Okay, well, it does say natural weapons D12 and D4, claws and D10. So I just roll all 3.
That's for attack rather. That's for damage rather than attack. I think. Let me just check.
No, that's on the skills, man.
It's on the attacks. Okay, well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, D12, D4, and D10. Go for it.
So claws and teeth. Oh my god. 11, 10, 4.
And
so the highest is 11.
Yeah.
So that's a critical hit. So
I think I eviscerated that fucker.
So we'll step up the damage.
In screaming panic, they tap the no yiffing sign.
You're fucked in a totally different way.
Yeah. So roll a D10 and a D8 for damage.
Okay. I do have 2 separate sets of damage for claws and for teeth. They're D6, D8.
I've looked at it and I've stepped it up for you. So D10 and D8.
Okay. 3 and 7.
Okay, and they try to soak.
And 10 and 2.
10 and 2 for damage, yeah?
Mm-hmm. 3 and 7 and then 10 and 2.
Can you put them in order highest to lowest, please? Or is that all damage or was that to hit and damage?
That's all damage.
Okay, give me the damage in order, highest to lowest.
Okay, 7, 3,
7, 3, yeah.
and then 10 and 2.
Okay, so 10's actually the highest. So it's 10,
10, 7, 3, 2.
3, 2. Right. And he rolled a 9 and a 1 for his soak. So that's normal damage, crit, normal. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. He was already hurt. So he's reduced to 5 health. So that's 5, 6, 7. So 7 for consciousness. That's 4, 6, 8.
I mean, the real question is, did he overkill him? Because that'll change things a great deal.
So he's knocked out, and killed.
But is he overkilled though?
No, he's not overkilled.
Oh, okay.
All right. So yes, you stay on top of him, sort of bear him down to the ground. He struggles, tries to get back up, and you rip his throat out with your teeth.
Rabbit
Another
versus
one
tiger, really?
Yes. Ugla.
Yes. Ugla does not want to leave the circle anymore. The circle is a safe place, but he wants to do his part. And seeing, if I can indeed see it, that someone towards the back put down their lantern and is up to something because they didn't close, I want to throw a rock at their lantern.
Okay.
Go
Figure
rock.
out what you need to roll and roll.
I mean, it's an improvised, so I don't get any.
Yeah, so maybe just speed then.
Yeah, I believe it would just be speed and prayer, basically.
You need to beat 3.
I mean, the only other possible thing we could say is that if you want to argue because I am a night creature and I have keen eyes, I could add my species die to it.
It's a lantern. It's pretty bright. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So just try and hit it.
All right. Got a 7.
Okay. You pick up a rock and hurl it at the lantern. It smashes. The oil spills out and catches on the fire from the other spilled lantern, forcing that rabbit to back off. Right. Kanga.
Oh, that worked. I can't believe.
Sometimes plans work.
Is anyone within range of my sword?
Again, you can dart forward to the one rabbit that remains by the set down lantern, but you'd have to try and leap back.
No, I'll let one of the other guys get him. I'll do a healing on Ugla instead.
Okay.
Nine and 5.
Let me find the difficulty for the heal magic.
3d4 it says.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but
Well, it's rolled as if it was damage. So what did you get on your dice?
9 and 5.
Okay. So
And each
if
hit
Ugla's taken any damage, he gets back 3 health.
Well, I know he took at least 1.
Yeah.
I did. My lump on my noggin from face planting into a tree is no longer there.
Yes, you feel a lot better. All right.
My beak is properly aligned again.
All right.
You fixed that deviated septum.
Now my voice sounds even more annoying.
The remaining 2 rabbits decide that discretion is the greater part of valor and turn tail and run. You see their little flashing white tails bobbing as they run off into the night. Does anyone wish to pursue or hurl a spear after them or anything?
We might want to prevent them from reporting back.
Yes, I'm going to run them down if I can. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll go after them bound pretty fast.
My career, which I take it is a measure of speed, not ambition, is D8.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get within spear lunge reach of one of them, but after that they'll pull away from you. So can you make an attack roll, please, Bara?
Okay. 7 is the highest on that.
Okay.
So career is your speed?
It depends. Sorry, what did you get? 7, was it?
7 was the highest, yes.
Okay, you hit. Roll damage for your spear.
Which is 2d8. 10. Okay, so this I do have to preserve in order. Okay, so 8, 5, 3.
8, 5, 3. And he got 9 and 2. So he takes 2 damage. And is knocked over. So, yeah, the other one probably will manage to get away, being a rabbit. But you smack one in the back with the head of your spear, knock him flat, catch up to him, and stab him thoroughly to death.
Jim, I said I was going after the other one, eh?
Oh, yeah. Can you make a...
I was asking about how you know if I get to him or not.
Yeah, I'm going to make you roll off against each other to see if you can catch him. So make a jumping plus speed roll.
Okay, so that's jumping. Speed is that one. Okay, is this all the numbers or just the highest?
Just the highest.
7 is the highest.
All right. So the rabbit is bounding and jumping through the woods, dodging back and forth between the trees as he goes. You come hurtling after him in full-on kangaroo hop, and slowly catch up to him. He glances back over his shoulder and sees you. Goes, ah! And you can now make your attack.
All right, I'm gonna try to do a two-handed leaping, come down on top of him with the katana.
Okay, go for it.
It's a rabbit foot chase.
I gotta find the numbers again. So it's D12 and the D8.
Well, you only need to beat 3 to hit him.
No, well, you got it. That's the first time I got a 12. So
okay. So that's a very definite.
I got a 12 and a 4
hit. Yeah. Since this is probably the last bit of combat, let's just.
Tank Girl versus Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah.
Do I get anything extra for coming down on him?
Well, I'm
wait and jump.
Beat him by more than 5, so I'm trying to look up what that does. Wounding your target, hitting your target, special. A special hit happens when the attacker overwhelmingly succeeds on their to hit roll.
To the best of my knowledge, and sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but to the best of my knowledge, and you can certainly mix this up, Jim, every weapon has a special associated with it. And I mentioned in private, if the sword's based on the broadsword from Jadeclaw, just for convenience, that's a slash special, which is an extra D6.
Yeah, that's what I was just reading here.
Yeah, if you want to use that.
Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Okay. So now roll damage, but you get an extra 6-sided damage dice on top of the normal damage.
I'm gonna put it in order again, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's weird. 9, 7, 5, 3. It's like steps down in order.
9, 7, 5, 3. Okay. And his armor gives him D10 and D6.
It's a bad day to be a bad guy.
Yeah. So you get 6 and 1. So
how does it? What do you do? Compare?
So we compare them. So the first one, you got 9, he got 6. So you beat him. You do 1 damage. On the second one, you got 7 and he got 1. So you beat by more than 5. So you do 2 damage. Right. That was all his soak dice. So your other ones are essentially unopposed, which means they just need to beat 1. So you do another 2 damage. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage in total. Right. So he has to make a will plus resolve roll against the damage he took, which was 9. So he fails utterly. So he's knocked down, so he can no longer get away. Plus, you did more than 3 damage. So he has to make the same roll against the D6 difficulty. I rolled a 5 with the difficulty and a 4 for that. So he is knocked unconscious. So you come bounding up, leaping out of the night, double overhead strike downwards on him, cut the corner off his helmet, smash down into his ring mail, probably break his collarbone, knock him to the ground, sort of landing on top of him, and he is out.
The kangaroo of peace is also the terror that hops in the night.
Well,
right.
We'll drag him and get Bara to drag the other one back to that circle.
Yeah. There is no question about it now, though. You have taken up with the bandits, and you have struck down the Herald and his men. There is no coming back from this. You are now part of the rebellion. But this is a one-shot, so that's as far as we're getting tonight. And we'll probably play something else next time. But I think that's a good place to stop. All right. Yeah, thank you for playing. That was a lot of fun. A bit of a mix of styles and things, but I had a good time. I hope you did too.
It's bizarre. It's the first time I've not really understood what's going on mechanically at all.
Yeah. I could see that the mechanics seem kind of weird.
Yeah. They do.
There's some odds and ends, but I mean, it's a one shot and a new game system for a lot of people. So like, this is what it's like. This is what it's like to figure it out.
Yeah,
it does.
But most systems, you can kind of grok if you've been playing long enough with enough systems. You can sort of grok. Oh, okay, I understand this at its core. Obviously you don't get the granularity of it. But this, I was just sitting here thinking, what?
Yeah.
When they did second ed, they cleaned a lot of the kludge specifically out of combat, which really helped everything else, oddly enough, because now you weren't thinking about specific ranks and when is my action happening versus somebody else's. Like, they figured a lot of that time stuff could be hand waved.
Yeah, I simplified things a bit. Like a lot of games, I think it got a bit bogged down in the combat. The rolling is weird because it's kind of unpredictable, but if you have a higher dice, it's quite easy for you to potentially overcome someone.
I like the fact that in First Ed the magic system is a little bit more flexible because there's more things you can do with your magic, right?
Yeah.
Second Ed's a lot more focused on the combat magic, but Second Ed also did away with magic points and made sure that everybody had a little bit of combat skill. So whereas it's like, yes, I, the frail one with No soak. I will fly into combat. Ha ha.
Well, it just seems odd. Like you can't tell how many dice you're supposed to do for this or that, or like most people, it's skill plus attribute roll. You know what I mean, or something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work like that. But then it kind of does, that's the confusing. But I quite like the way it layers the dice. So if you're a certain species, you sometimes get your species dice. So that's one of the dice that you roll. You've got your career, which gives you a dice type for skills and things associated with that career. Then you've got your experience on top of that. And then sometimes your base stats are added in, but not always, which is confusing.
The sad fact, as someone who's actually had arguments with the guy who made it, which is not great, but is the real selling point for Ironclaw is not its system. Its system is a mess. That's someone who loves it. It's a mess. It's setting. The setting is king for this game.
I don't think it's awful. I just think it takes some getting used to, and there's a few things I would change. So I would make it more about stat plus skill, potentially plus career plus race, and that would give you your dice pool. That's probably how I would go for it. But it's hard to intuit how good you are at something. From the system, because it's a bit, despite being a dice pool, it's quite swingy, and defense seems overpowered compared to attack. I find, but yeah. Anyway, we'll call it a night there. I haven't decided what I'm doing next time, but next week is T-shirts game over on T-shirted Historian channel. More Cyberpunk.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So
more Cyberpunk by way of Cities Without Number.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we? So I get the machine gun down a bunch of people again?
Most likely. It's kind of up to you.
A palate cleanser for T-shirt after having to play the horrible furry game.
You'd have a difficult time getting me to play this again. I would protest.
Yeah, I didn't mind the furry aspect, but the mechanics were what was hard.
Yeah, exactly. That was my problem. Is like the mechanics were just like, what?
Like the same adventure in Mutants and what I was saying, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that would have been fine.
Well, I mean, and the combat really bogged down bad.
Yeah. Well, during the combat, I never knew what dice I was picking up. I had to wait till he told me every time.
I figured out the dice, but it's just man, it was slow.
And it's comparing all the dice. That would be easier if we were playing in person. But it's kind of awkward online where you have to communicate back and forth about it.
Yeah, probably.
So, the week after next, then, I don't know what. Maybe I'll run a short campaign of Modiphius's Fallout, or it might be another one shot. I haven't decided yet.
I'd be up for Fallout. I love Fallout.
Got to ride the memes for Fallout, so...
Yeah.
While it's still on people's minds. All right.
I was just saying, are you going to use the timeline from the show, or are you going to use your own unique, interesting form of Fallout?
Yeah, it'll be my own unique, interesting form of.
I followed in the UK. See what it looks like in the UK.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
We're starting Mega City 1, right?
Thank you for playing. See you next time.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Bye bye.